The button's hit.
This is about
top quality.
That scares me. Was the button hit?
Yeah.
I think it is.
The button's hit.
It better be hit.
Zalker, you're it.
Hey.
Little
Oh.
bitch. I'm gonna talk
I'm
some
running
shit.
after you. I'm gonna get you.
Hey, everyone watching live. Thanks for joining us. Real Deal Xbox Podcast, where we talk about things from the perspective of people that do prefer Xbox, but obviously there's two sides to the coin, right? I think so anyway. There's Abraham Lincoln's on one side and there's something building on the other side. That's two sides, and that's Microsoft and Sony, and they're directly responsible and directly related, really. They're responsible for kind of how good one another really gets, right? That's why Xbox are where they're at, and that's why Sony had elevated in the PS4 era. But our belief is that Microsoft, it's their turn. They're going to flip it on their side, and they're going to rise from the ashes as they've been doing over the past 8 years, and it's going to get even better, right?
Yeah.
So thanks. This is Real Deal Xbox Podcast, and we like turtles. Cody, hey, man.
Yeah.
What's with this speech you're
Shut
giving
up,
us?
Cole. How you
Yeah,
been?
what the hell?
I love it.
With this like soapbox going on.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
tiny
his
little box of
gladiator
soap.
speech. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. Well, I'm super excited. This is 6 days, 5 days left, or whatever it is. A couple wake ups, and then E3. Yeah, I'm excited.
Whew. There's a lot going on.
Quality.
Quality. Hey, shout out to Nano Polymath. We got Le Hellboy. We got Big C. We got all these guys in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Try to get as many shout outs as possible. It's very, very hard to keep up with the chat, as you guys know. But again, thank you guys for what you do. If you're already here, hit the like button. It really helps. Share it out with a buddy or two. And of course, tell your friends, especially your grandma. Hey, Bonzardi, how you been?
This is about
Top quality.
Well, you,
Jesus Christ.
how you been, Fonz?
Doing good.
Are you all right?
I'm really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you
The
guys
hell
stood up
just
today,
happened to
man.
you?
Is this what's going on?
Nothing's happening, man. It's great to be here. It's RDX Tuesday. Let's get it, man.
Hey, and D-Bash just showed up. We'll come to him last in the intros so you can get everything plugged in, scrambling. Hey, Tim Dog, how you been, brother?
5 more sleeps till E3.
Is that on iTunes?
Yeah, I'm very, very, very happy. This is what it's all about. Every day I wake up with a lot of energy, and I'm excited. This Sunday, the news seems to be getting better and better. 2 weeks ago, people were being really down in the dumps about E3, and it seems like a lot of people have come around. We got a lot to talk about, and just happy to be here. Thanks for everyone showing. Chat, everyone. I love you all.
He loves you all. Hey, thanks, Tim. And of course, shout out to our fantastic moderators who crush and serve the people in the chat, including Lethal Papa, Obi-Wan, and developers like Kirby. Louise, shout out to Kirby. We need to have him back on the show again. Great guy. But we've also got Zalker87. D-Batch is having audio issues, apparently. Dropped back out. But D-Batch, D-Batch. Zalker,
Wow.
how you been, D-Batch?
I'm the new most talented.
Yeah.
I'm doing good, man. The panel's fucking me up. I ain't gonna lie. You got a soapbox. You're just doing a speech.
Mm-hmm.
Fawn's doing all the like voiceovers, and then sounds like he got kicked in the nuts
You're scared
after.
of
And
change,
then Tim's
huh?
saying he loves everybody.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm just excited for E3. Can't wait. This weekend's what most all gamers. We just wait for this stuff, man. We wait for all the big news to come out. And what Tim said was right. E3, a lot of people are like, temper expectations. And then the last like 3-4 days, people are like, maybe not. Hold up. Like, even insiders just, everybody's
Insiders.
excited for
Who's
Xbox's
inside?
E3. Wait, what?
Inside
Moving
E3. I think, yeah.
I know.
But we're going to talk
You
about.
know what I've learned about that?
Huh?
Not many people, even the insiders, know much about what's going to happen at E3.
Yeah, it's like a year or two ago. Like we were hearing such, we were like, we're not even going to talk about this publicly. This is nuts. So hey, let's go ahead and get D-Batch. You there, D? You got your cords all plugged in and stuff? Nope. He's still plugging the cords in. Jay Chat, he'll speak. I want to hear D-Batch's voice as much as you do, but he's unfortunately not here right now. He's working on it. The ghosts are here though. Let me go ahead and do the shout outs to my fantastic patrons. So my patron shout out tier refreshes around the 1st or 5th of every month, actually. And I want to thank these guys Tony Art, Ricky Falan, shout out to you, brother. Johnny No Life, Max Power Play, Faultline Z, Fierce Fud, Mega Life, CBD.com, Not Silent, Alex Emery, Updo, YouTube, Bad Boy Live. We've also got Achievement, Nano Polymath, Zordon, Costanza, Wayne, Scout Trooper 74, KY Bob, Goose 8402, Straw Hat Khalifa, Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Gabquiz, Teo, John Blue, who is not British. Once more, I repeat, he's not British. As well as Vec Boss, Deviator X, Real Deal Nail, Suicide King, those guys have been around forever. Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, All Mike Gaz, Dark CMF, and Alfonso Hogan. Shout out to every single one of you. Thank you very much for what you do. I am going to be updating a lot of this stuff on Patreon, the Discord stuff, finally getting to a place like where it's, I'm coming back into everything. So the last year, we're return to form, so to speak. So we're definitely getting back to that. I want to start with the first topic because we're doing this on behalf of a fan base that doesn't want to do it. Much like my last video, which, none of them really watched. Hey, we're talking about just stuff it. God of War is pushed back to 2022, which is good news because for one, we all expected it. A delay is never a bad thing. I think it's going to make the game even better. I love God of War 2018. Yep. Gran Turismo is confirmed as cross-gen title, pretty much as well as God of War. And then you've got that also joins Horizon Zero Dawn as another cross-generation title. Now, again, God of War is delayed to 2022, and the Guerrilla Games developers, the guys behind Horizon Zero Dawn, do say that they were not held back in any way, shape, or form by the PlayStation 4 when developing this title. But Fonzarelli, as you so cleverly pointed out last week, I think it was, what the hell are you talking about with that the flying machine from Horizon Zero Dawn that you couldn't put in there because our drive wasn't fast enough? Did you just not have the flying machine idea this time around, or what is going on? But when it comes to game visuals, right? They're talking about, I guess they weren't held back, right? That game looks a lot better than Ratchet and Clank, in my opinion. That's a PS5 only game. I think game design, apparently, maybe they're not talking about game design. What's going on here, Fonz?
Yeah, I don't understand why they were complaining about that, or they weren't really complaining, but they were, hyping up the PlayStation 5. That's what it was all about. It was just hype. I mean, King David pointed that out to me. He was talking to me about it, and he said, of the Iron Lords podcast, by the way. He said, yeah, that was just all marketing hype. They were just, excited for the PS5 and wanted to push it and say, hey, we're going to be, innovating and pushing the limits with the PS5. So they just said some stuff like that. I don't know, because I really don't see that, how they could say one thing like, hey, this could hold back game design, which the flying mechanic would be, and then all of a sudden say, hey, it's not holding anything back. Well, apparently there ain't no flying mechanic in there. There's that little glider thing that's going on. But I want to fly, and I want to fly fast. What do I do? They've got to talk about, they have to talk up their game, and they can't really say anything like, yeah, it was held back. They're not going to admit to that. So
you're saying they're lying. You're saying they're lying about this.
No. I will say that, that when it comes down to sheer scope of games, the game mechanics, some innovation they could have pushed without being held back by the PlayStation 4 or, any of these consoles, really. The Series X will suffer from this as well when it comes to that type of, stuff, like the sheer scope of games and what they could push. But they're not going to admit to that. Developers won't admit to that. They can't.
Man, it is weird, right? You got to chat. Let us know why you think they were saying that they were held back from making a flying thing in Horizon Zero Dawn on PS4, but they're not held back with PS5. And I'm guessing that's obviously a game design thing, not being able to stream in that much data on a slow 5,400 RPM hard drive inside the PS4 and the Xbox, right? Those hard drives are very slow. Why do you think they would lie about this, chat? And maybe are they really, really sidestepping? They're like, well, we just didn't have a flying mechanic idea this time, or maybe more likely, right? Because this is the reason your games don't look the same from 2013 to 2019 on the same platform. Software comes forward. They find a new way to do something more efficiently every 2 years, and perhaps they've just gotten around that solution by building their engine up, right? That's one of the biggest advancements with Battlefield that you'll hear about in a day or two is their engine, right? New Frostbite engine is far more effective at bringing you far more features.
I hear you say that sometimes, Dealer. And one thing I will say, though, is that as, things advance, well, so does everything else. Like you can't just cherry pick what advances and what doesn't, because they could further push the the hardware if the software tech advances.
That's my point.
So but what I'm saying at the end of the day is like you can push to the point where the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 will indeed hold these consoles back to a certain degree.
Yeah, you certainly can, yes, but the software will keep moving forward. So an easy example of this would be on the old Assassin's Creed engine with Black Flag. That could never support the Eagle that is you can fly so high up and render so much detail on a slow hard drive like a Xbox One's, right, or a PS4's. That wouldn't have been possible before. And my point is that possibly maybe they just got around it like many developers do by continuing to evolve the software, right?
Well, it's about like when it's like what you're saying, dealer, is 100% correct. It's about like the priorities, right? They'll be like, we want this feature in the game, and what can we do with it? Can we scale it back to where we get the feature, but it's not as expansive as we thought, and then we integrate and put things into it later as we figure out how to do things. So that's what they do. It's just prioritizing things. It's just project management, and that's probably what they did. And the number one thing, it's not about hardware or whatever. It's about customers. They don't want to put 110 million people behind them. That's just it. That's all they care about. And Hurst, Herman Hurst, the guy that, was the head of Holst. Thank you.
Get his name right, Zach.
Herman Holst.
Jesus.
Yeah, Herman Holst. That guy even said it would be stupid business decision if we left 110 million people behind.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like, that's exactly what he said. He said it would be stupid. And that's just like, that's the whole point, everybody. That's all that's what Sony, that's what every company cares about, is making money. So these things that people were talking about, like, oh, it's pushing it forward. Did Sony do it in a scummy ass way? Damn right they did, just like they did the $70 thing.
Well, Zucker, did they decide?
I got to say one thing first, right? And I want to throw it to Colt, right? Which, I'm sure you have a lot to say on this, Colt, because we've been talking to a lot of people for a long time. But God's Zealot, and this is a fantastic super chat because I saw him earlier on Twitter. Shout out to you. He says, "I want to see the slander of Ratchet and Clank. These ponies promise me this is going to happen. Hit the like button. Can I get a Kratos? Yes, you can. Ratchet, this is the thing too, right? We got guys on Twitter saying, quoting Digital Foundry directly, right, saying that Ratchet and Clank is not possible on PC and Xbox. Absolute complete lie. Never was said like that. So, this is the kind of community that if you're on Twitter, you're going to run into these people that are going to say that we're going to make fun of Ratchet and Clank, even though we've only said it looks technically impressive. And I think most of us are going to end up getting the game. But yeah, shout out to you guys, Zealot. We'll definitely come to Ratchet and Clank at the end of the show. And again, chat, let us know your thought. Colt, Horizon Zero Dawn. Why they lying, huh?
I was going to ask Zucker, like, because he says like they did it because of money, because they don't want to leave behind all these people on the PlayStation 4. Like, I was going to say, Zucker, did they decide last minute to go ahead and make a PS4 version of the game, or was it their plan all along?
It was a plan all along, and
it was a plan all along. And Jim Ryan said, "We believe in generations. We want you to feel special with your special experience."
I'm special.
While they watched Xbox get dragged for an entire calendar year for supporting Xbox One for 1 to 2 years, and finally Jim Ryan goes, "Well, we're gonna support it for 3 to 4 years, right?" And so, I saw Face 23 said, "Well, why didn't they do it with Ratchet and Clank?" Well, Ratchet and Clank is actually using the I/O for the rifts.
For the teleportations,
You know what the funny thing is that everybody thinks that this is the same Sony, and it's not. Like, Sean Layden's not there. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if you guys ever, like was it 3.5 years ago or 2.5 years ago? Sean Layden had like a big press conference where he talked about stuff. It was one of the most honest, like, things I've ever seen somebody talk about. Like, it impressed me how open he was with fans and developers. Like, that was Sean Layden doing that. He's not there no more, people. This is a completely different leadership at Sony, and while they're going to be doing, I'm pretty sure they're going to do well. The first party's going to do well. I can't wait for God of War. I can't wait. I'm going to play Ratchet and Clank all weekend until E3 comes up on Sunday or Saturday, and it's just, it's a different, it's a different change of the guard.
It's
Sony.
a good point.
And that's the point. Like, hold on, let me finish. And that's the whole point of it, is that after the shows they had, the digital shows, they did just sit there and say exclusive to PS5, or just hinted that it was PS5 only, or this could only be done here, and this new SSD is gonna rip your fucking chest hairs off. It's like, what?
Shit.
It's like, that's not. I get it. It's great, but That after that, they started shadow dropping stuff, and that's what annoyed gamers.
Not a
They
bit
shadow
indies out
drop.
there, and they shadow drop $70 games. The games come to PlayStation
Yeah,
4.
But isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, Zaka brings up a great point because when Sean Layden was there, he brought an element of fun to Sony, to their stage and everything. And it's a completely different feel with Jim Ryan. It's total corporate now. Like there's no element of fun there with Jim. It's all
Without the
business.
interaction from the executives and stuff.
Yeah, and it's all business all the time with Jim. And, you know, along with business and big corporations comes, you know, a lot of scummy tactics. And we're seeing that. And I'm not saying Xbox is, you know, above all of those tactics because, you know, things can happen and things have happened in the past that we've talked about. But at the end of the day, if you have to compare how it's going this generation, Xbox has indeed been more transparent than Sony.
A billion times more transparent. And that was the point of my last video. And I don't want to sit there and focus on this shit. But I do just want to point out that Horizon Zero Dawn, the developers said they were not held back in any way. I'm not saying they're lying, right? I'm saying that I think they came forward through software and enabled something they just couldn't do before. We see it all the time. Red Dead 2 is we never thought we'd get that much, that good of physics with that crazy terrain, that much detail, with that kind of, the game looks phenomenal. And you just wouldn't think it looks better than any next-gen game almost that I've even seen to this day. Yep. And if you played on Xbox One X, it's beautiful. Doom Eternal's a great example of a game that looks better than pretty much every next-gen game I've seen.
You can argue art style, but I still think Ratchet looks even better.
Ratchet looks
more
amazing.
next-gen to me.
It looks amazing.
I can't wait
There's
to
a
play
ton of
Ratchet,
detail,
man.
but I would say Horizon looked better than Ratchet myself. And I think God of
Hey,
War 2018 or the sequel will be a cross-gen game that will look better than Ratchet as well. D-Batch, you're here. Wow.
I want to
Halo
say,
Infinite's going to look
yeah,
great.
man. I don't know. I had a whole bunch of
You sound like a...
freaking issues, man. But finally, yes, I'm here. I forgot to hit the button. Sorry, guys.
You forgot.
I just gotta say, Ratchet and Clank. When I saw that this morning, like, wow, like I am utterly impressed with that game. I can't wait to get my hands on it Friday. And I gotta say, like, I have to play it obviously, but just what I've seen, this has to be one of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life, and definitely the best looking next gen game that I've seen thus far. And I know I heard you guys talking about it. People are gonna say, "Oh yeah, you guys are gonna do it."
D, you can't.
that.
D, your
Hey,
mic,
listen,
your
man,
mic is
you
like...
sound like crap.
where
You sound like a
credit is
mosquito,
due.
D. Like, seriously. You sound like a mosquito, brother.
Is it?
Yeah, like, and when you were just...
Let me
Fast
plug the other
forward.
one.
Yeah, what happened to your microphone,
God
D? It
damn
got
it.
worse. What the hell?
What are you on 2.0 fast?
Yeah, hey, me and
All right,
Fonzo
give me a
were
second.
recording some skits for the RDX podcast on like mobile, Spotify, iTunes, and stuff today. Me and Fonzo are recording these skits, and we're all doing all this shit professionally. We're going to make sure all this is right. D-Batch is going to be in one of them as a mosquito. We're going to call D-Batch in. That's what we're going to do.
Let me just say something real quick about some people saying, of course, you guys are criticizing them. First of all, go back like, what was it, 2 months ago,
They're not
2.5
gonna go
months
back
ago,
then.
where Xbox changed the price of the Xbox Live and we annihilated them on this show. Go back there, smack yourself in the face, and realize that we actually do talk about the bad things Xbox does. And what
Soccer,
any
the
company does.
free to play paywall, that too.
Oh, that
we've
too, yeah.
done
Man,
for a
I
lot
don't
of
want
things.
to get stuck in that. Everyone that actually listens
I
to
know,
knows.
but people just need to understand.
We're
Relax.
fair
Stop praising your freaking favorite plastic. We don't give a shit.
Steeler, say it.
I just want to say this though, real quick.
Yeah.
When
Ooh,
I
much
saw
better, D.
this game, hopefully my mic sounds better now.
Yes,
Oh, a
much
lot
better.
better.
Yeah, when I saw this game, honestly, it gave me excitement from Microsoft games as well, and I'll tell you why. Because Sony is setting the bar on how first-party games should look, and everyone wants Microsoft to achieve the goal of having games that look at least the same or superior to what Sony is offering. And I think this will help push the developers over there. And I just think it's great for gaming in general when we see a game that has such a level of detail and fidelity, and it just looks like there's some new experiences there that we didn't get on last generation hardware that wasn't possible on last generation hardware, such as the portal stuff and the stuff just loading in instantly. And I gotta say, it's a good day for gaming in general. Like, screw if you like the Xbox, screw if you like the PlayStation 5. As a gamer, we win because games are gonna look better going forward. So
Yes.
that's what I gotta say on that.
And 60 frames mode on that, just like we said from the beginning, it should be able to have.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited for Insomniac, man. Like the last, what was it? Sunset Overdrive, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales. The last 3 games they brought out, I've absolutely loved, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fucking love this game. So I'm pre-ordering it, downloading it, and getting ready to play it because it looks insane. So yeah.
And that's okay. Guys in the chat, you prefer Xbox, but at the end of the day, you're a gamer, right? Tell us if you're buying Ratchet and Clank. Tell us if you've played it, or if you've seen footage of it, or if you hate it with a passion. Me, myself, I'll probably play it, but I don't know when because my PS5's still not plugged into the wall. I just
Really
don't
quick,
care.
I would say that Ratchet and Clank is a testament to, you should want these games to move forward and leave old consoles behind. This
I mean,
proof.
the only reason is the teleportation, though. So if you've got a teleporting
it
game,
doesn't
then
matter.
go for it.
But it doesn't matter. The thing is it's innovating. It's doing something different that can't be done on last gen hardware. I want to see these games do this thing. And yeah, a lot of these games, these franchises, they don't really push innovation. They just basically up the graphical
How
level
dare you,
and everything.
really?
But they don't. They don't do anything outside the box. It couldn't be done, on a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. But I want to see this stuff move forward like what Ratchet is doing. It's amazing to me that, I don't know. I know that there's a bunch of consoles that would be left behind, and that's a lot of money left on the table. But at the same time, like, I can't wait for them to move on.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely
3 or
going to
4
move
years.
on, right? They're going to
3
move
or
on
4
sooner than
years.
that. They're moving on sooner than that. They really are.
They really are. I think even Xbox is moving sooner than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not a choice of when they decide to move back. It really is a choice of timing. Like, at what point of development are you in close to next gen? Like, it is an exception is Ratchet and Clank. It's a launch window game basically, and Returnal. Like, there's a couple of games there that are next gen only on PS5. But the biggest games, like their big games, God of War, Spider-Man, and Horizon are cross-gen. So it really tells a tale there
better
that
than Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. I mean, those are big games.
And I think we're going to see them move on. But I think one of the big testaments of like what third party and developers and everybody's going to be doing is that Battlefield game. I think once they reveal what the differences between next gen and last gen are in that game, I know there's going to be like probably a player count where last gen only gets 64 and maybe next gen gets 128 or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
But I want to see what the differences are. Kind of like we've talked about this multiple times. The Nemesis system, right? Wasn't on 360, but was on the Xbox One.
Battlefield 3
Doug
is
coming
a
for
good
your
example,
ass.
right? Battlefield 3, you had 24 people online on the last gen, or Battlefield 4, last gen 24, and next gen at the time was 64. So yeah, we've been through that stuff. Ratchet and Clank looks good. Again, I think Horizon, I think the next God of War, I think all that stuff will be proof that cross-gen, doesn't have anything to do with the visuals. Those games will look better in Ratchet and Clank, but if you want to innovate, you got a teleportation system, you got to stream in a bunch of detail all at once. If you got an Unreal Engine 5 system like they've shown off, we'll get to that later, that has so much detail in it, you'll need an SSD. You will need to go to next gen. But for the most part, games are going to come out how they're going to come out, and things do scale easier than ever for developers. Not that there's no work, but I do want to cap it with this. Who knows the Metascore to Ratchet and Clank? I predicted an 89 last night in the party with Colt. What is that?
I predicted an 88, but it's still in flux, right?
I'm looking it up.
It's an 88, I believe.
I hate you,
Last
Colt.
time I checked.
Well, we don't want to believe.
It is an 89 out of 97 critic reviews. 89.
Yep.
So good.
I said, Colt. I told you 2 days ago, whatever, in the party. I said 90.
Yeah, I know.
I
Dealer
was
said
thinking
89
90
last
plus.
night.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to call out Tim. He said 85, so let's give Tim the
Tim, you're
RDX
exposed.
hell of a life.
Tim, you have the flow.
Tim exposed Xbox.
Now listen,
Damn
I mean,
Xbox.
I have to say, Insomniac is the deal of the century. 227 million for that studio. They kind of price themselves low, I think. And considering they have been bulletproof or COVID proof, they've done this through the pandemic. They've released Spider-Man, even though it was, an add-on, whatever you want to say, for
Get on that
launch.
mic, Tim.
They still announced it, and they got it out the door, and they got it on launch, and you have to give them a lot of credit. They have ray tracing, and they've also did this game now. So right now they're a tremendous studio, and they deserve all the praise in the world. and they defied odds. You know, they did this. They delivered 2 games in a pandemic. So like that's the craziest thing to me. And you know, both of them are 85 plus. I think Spider-Man was like 86, and this is now 89. Man, like, you know, unbelievable. I'm very happy for them. Great people there. Ted Price, gentleman. A couple times I've met him. He's always been a seriously nice guy, and you know, I hope they make Sunset Overdrive remake on PS5. I'll be all about it.
Tim, I got to ask you one question. How could you give Ratchet an 85? Because, I mean, it's
top quality.
Why? You know,
You ever thought about unplugging that thing?
I kind of like it.
I love it.
I kind of like it. So yeah, 89 meta as of right now, and that is very good. So yeah, congrats to Insomniac, and let us know if you're going to play that down below. I guess that tackled both of those topics, which is good, because I don't really want to sit here and talk about that shit. But yeah, a lot of stuff cross-gen. Jim Ryan, all them motherfuckers lied to you. That's the moral of the story. And while some are too busy picking out examples of how companies lie to each other or explaining why every company lies to their consumers, how about you just call out the ones that do when they do, you know, like we've done for Xbox, like we've done for Microsoft. The only ones we really don't do it for is Nintendo, because I haven't said that word in 7 months. Other than that, yeah, God of War, I'm sure the sequel will be great. Delayed to 2022. And in other news, water is wet. Quite wet, actually. Epic. They are showing off the PlayStation 5 demo that we saw months ago, the Nanite demo, on PC. And the entire demo consisted of 6 gigabytes of data. So that is after news of Sony guys on Twitter saying it couldn't be done on PC or Xbox. How do you guys, I mean, this is a quick
another,
one. It's worth
it's
mentioning.
just, yeah, it's just hilarious, man. I remember when that demo was showed last year, everybody was like, it only can be done there. It's like, dude, shut the hell. Yeah, it's exclusive. SSDs are exclusive, and they ran to the trees like a freaking idiot.
They said the PS5 SSD was so
slow
fast they couldn't run it on PC or Xbox.
Super slow SSD.
Yeah,
Fat
these
pipe.
freaking exclusive. They're just, I don't know. Who cares what these idiots say? Honestly, like it has been shown that people that act like they're Sony insiders don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh shit!
And they just say shit to stir the console war so they can get clicks and get followers on Twitter. Because they're middle-aged
Hold
men
up.
that don't know what they're doing with their life.
Why are they
So,
gonna be
is
middle-aged
there
for?
really any? Is there Sony insiders?
No.
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
I got
don't
tagged in
think
something,
so.
Tim. I don't know if you got tagged in something recently. Somebody liked something from like a year ago. Some guy saying that the PS5 is going to be full RDNA 3. It had every single RDNA 2 feature, Tide Pods or some shit, whatever the guy's name was. That stuff is hilarious to me because,
Tide Pods.
again, you know, we're laughing at it, and yeah, we I guess technically we do care a little bit what's being said. Not that they're saying it, because we do care about accuracy and what's going on. But still, you know, watch me right cross this guy in the face over and over. That's Mike Tyson fighting Mike Tyson.
The best thing is that like Epic is like, you know, that their money maker is Fortnite, but it's also their engine, right? Like they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, we'll just do this exclusive little thing for you. It's like, are you stupid? Like, do you not see like the business that Epic, how like valuable they are and how valuable their engine is?
Yeah.
Like they're going to make it accessible to everybody. It's insane. And the best part is like Coalition's like, we're going to be quiet for a little bit because we're going to try to master this new, you know, Unreal Engine 5. And like, all right, see you guys later. And people are like, well, it's PlayStation. Oh, I just want to slap
Hey,
shit out
you know
of
what?
Yeah,
Even from a technical perspective, though, if you understand that what an SSD does, that it's not a graphics card, and understand how much bandwidth it would actually take to do what they were showing, and then go and hear people say that can only be done on a PS5 SSD, not a PC, not an Xbox SSD, that's ridiculous.
That just drove me crazy when they initially came out, and like we said, it's gonna be on Xbox. They just partnered up with Sony to show it on their system. Sony just dumped millions of dollars into Epic, so you know, of course, they want something back in return. And you got to see the demo running first on the PlayStation. Obviously, this was possible on the Series X the moment that you knew it had a freaking SSD. Like if any statement is true, is that this is only possible on a system with an SSD. That is it. And it's just ridiculous. And you know, the kicker is that on the Series X, it's gonna run better because it's more powerful hardware. So it's it's just stupidity. But at the same time, I'm glad to finally put these guys to bed.
To put them in a
that we've
casket.
seen Xbox Series X footage, and it looked immaculate. I saw one guy, he posted on my timeline, "Oh, look at the PlayStation 5 version. No, it doesn't look the same. The PlayStation 5 version looks better. Look." He's like trying to post side by side. It's like, come on, like get a grip here.
Not
Come
knowing
on.
that the newest footage was uploaded at 1080p, but cached in 4K.
Oh my god.
Hey, let me get a few super chats. I got to do this. I haven't done any yet. But shout out to the guys at Super Chat. Shout out to all the channel members, the guys that I highlighted names and the cool emojis. Ace Out, by the way, Ace Out Gamer says, "Hey dealer, be sure to tell Zocker to get those baby carrots ready. It's going to be a fantastic show. Watch all the RDX guys. Thank you so much, sir. I'm going to try to get.
I got him, boy.
He's going to try to get
Appreciate
to a few more as well. Shout out to Mega Bad Seed as well. We've also got Bruce, Big Daddy, Mr. Joshua, Mr. Joanna Dark as well. And then we've got some other super chats, like I said before. Here's another one from Vincent Robinson. He does say, I just want to say, don't forget about Bright Memory Infinite. Yes, we were talking to K-Mega in a party last night, actually, and he was talking about Bright Memory as well. That's going to be something that a lot of fans have been looking forward to, though. The thing we have already played is kind of like a demo that was built on the Dreamcast and ported to Series X.
Yeah.
I'll just be
man.
honest.
But do we know? Do we know for sure? I think that's a multi-plat at launch. Just the demo is exclusive. Does anybody know
demo.
I couldn't find the real answer on that.
No, I don't know. Maybe Zach can look that
I
up. Let
gotta
me get
say,
to
though,
some more of these after. Do you go ahead and I'll get some more of these.
Yeah, temper your expectations on that game. I played the first one, I played the demo, and like, it's meh. So like,
It's meh.
temper your expectations, man. It's nice that we got
Made by
we got
one
something
person.
Yeah. I'm not taking anything away, but just like people are
No, I
expecting
know.
it just to
I know. Not that
blow
you, but
minds, and it's not.
It's made by one person, two people,
Yeah.
whatever.
Which is pretty amazing. It's
It
an
is
amazing
amazing
feat.
in its own right,
Yeah.
but you're not going to get.
Yeah. Remember,
You're not gonna
screenshots
do something
and
that,
trailers are always screenshots and trailers.
Yeah, exactly.
Slip SP, by the way, he says pizza or spicy Thai with beef. Can't decide. Call it pizza. Go.
Pizza.
Shout out to Psychonauts as well, who is a channel member, by the way. We've also got some other chats here. I'm going to get to these. But again, we've got Douglas Lowe. Shout out to becoming a channel member. Jake in the super chat, or Jerry rather. Jerry, I guess I wish I could pronounce some of these names. Getford, he says 120 FPS mode only on Series X for Battlefield 6 would be sweet. That's that'll be a back and pack game too if that happens. So don't worry, they'll have some kind of fucking reason for that. Jake Manucci and the super chat says Sea of Thieves plus Assassin's Creed ? Ooh, that's gonna be the Biome DLC. I guess you're gonna hear about something interesting with Assassin's Creed at E3. We've also got Meat Puppet. He has a good point regarding some of the stuff we've already been talking about. Shout out to him. He says, how are gamers actually going to enjoy Ratchet and Clank without any of these systems out there? And that's a good point. Like you said, you can't do that. You can't do that, Fonzarelli. And then Johnny No Life, Destiny 2 News. Check his channel out. He says lots of games have actually, they run on both PS2, Game Boy, all different platforms. And DS and beyond, just throw feature parity in trash. Yes, definitely. And then I think we can get one more here. If I can lower this. Chuck Eagle. He says, dealing with show his face because I've already shown my face. I've shown an eyebrow and everything. Actually, you know what's funny is I actually did a face reveal. I've done a face reveal on this channel, like where I was on camera talking. And none of you know it.
Well,
go
find when you got 47
find the
views or
video,
what?
children. Go find the video. Phil Spencer from the future. He gets everything right. Yeah. I don't want Chuck to know who I am. Or Chuck. I don't want Phil Spencer to know what I look like, so I can't get no information no more. You know what I'm saying?
Are you calling Phil Spencer Chuck now?
Chuck,
or what?
Chuck. Hell,
What happened?
it's fucking Chucky. But yeah,
Chuck
thanks to
Spencer.
thanks to those guys
This
in
is
Super
about
Chat.
delivering great exclusive games.
Okay,
for
Tim.
you
Okay,
that ship
Foz. Let's go to the next topic.
Okay, Chuck.
We've also got to give a shout out to almost 1,800 people already watching live, guys. We've been sitting there for a while. I want to thank all of you for making the show what it is. Hit the like button. Let's try to get up to 1,000 likes before the end of the show. You really help out the channel, and everything you do matters and helps. If you haven't checked out my last video, check that out after the show, too. That flopped his ass off. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move. New topic. We've got, Battlefield. Somebody's mentioned Battlefield in the chat. I'm excited for that. I need to see what it looks like in I want to know the difference between the cross-gen versions, you know what I'm saying, like you guys do. But, you know, again, the PS5 demo running on PC, Epic showed that stuff off. They will be showing more soon. E3 times and information. Now, this is for those of you that are wondering, and we're going to spend the vast majority of the show on Xbox's E3, what's going to be there, what's, you know, based on what we know and what we think is going to happen. But the E3 times and stuff for Ubisoft and all this other stuff, we got some information there. So Ubisoft's will be Saturday. All these times are in the Pacific time. So Ubisoft's 12 p.m. You've got Gearbox at 2 p.m. Sunday. You've then got Xbox's and Bethesda's conference, which is combined. That's interesting that they've gone that route, which, you know, they still may have another event or two this year. But we'll have more details on that next. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific, Xbox Bethesda conference. That's pretty early for a lot of you out there, so you might just want to pull an all-nighter, especially you, Randall. Yeah. Square Enix, 12 p.m. Eastern Pacific. WB Games Back 4 Blood. What is that? That's at 2 p.m. Eastern or Pacific. Does anybody know what that is?
Left 4 Dead, like reboot or clone.
Well, where the hell's the damn Batman Back 4 Blood WB event?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Nobody knows. It's all. Yeah. I mean, everything's delayed till next year.
Yeah, I think they probably use a lot of motion capture too, and a lot of studios that were using motion capture really were hurt by the pandemic. So I'm pretty sure that game is pushed back.
I hate pandemics. They've also got PC Gaming Show at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time.
That's gonna be
nobody
awesome.
gives a shit about that, D-Batch. Tell your boss that, okay, D-Batch. Nobody cares about PC Gaming Show.
Will we see Burning Crusade again?
What do you think they're gonna see at PC Gaming Show, real quick, D? Like real quick.
You know what? I gotta be honest with you. The PC Gaming Show, as much as I play on PC, it's freaking boring. Like, you're gonna see a lot of like PC
roguelikes,
like PC gaming. Like, there's so many different genres.
Shower with your daddy too.
There's so many little niche games, so they're gonna show a lot of weird shit, man. We'll probably get a couple demonstrations of FSR on the PC, some stuff like that. Maybe a few unannounced titles for the PC, but overall, their shows usually.
I don't even know why they have the PC like event show.
Exactly.
Like, Blizzard does their own. Blizzard does their own
thing. Soccer dating sims.
First of all, Mister, I play in a hot tub game. Spawns. I don't want to hear your bullshit.
Oh,
right?
Shit.
That's only on freaking Twitch.
You should have heard Fonz when he's playing that Final Fantasy VII.
He's playing some Final Fantasy game, and he's like, "I'm in a hot tub right now. This is fire." I was like, "What the hell?"
Guys, you just take the towel off.
Anyways, but like every developer that is PC just kind of does their own show. So what are you showing at the PC game? Like, you don't need it. And then all the games that are going to be at the Xbox show are going to be on PC anyways. So it just doesn't make sense. Same with Square Enix. Same with Warner Brothers. A lot of the events are just going to be, you know, on PC. So what's the point of the PC gaming show? I've watched it like once, and then I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Okay,
but everything else looks good.
Yeah, but Back 4 Blood, I mean, that is a game that I've recently actually kind of learned about, and I haven't seen much on it. Hellblade's like, you don't know what it is? It's like, sorry, sir, I've never had a certain food you might have had. Is that okay? Damn. No, I didn't know what it was, but the second I heard about it, I'm definitely interested, right? Doesn't mean I can't buy it, right? So if it's good, I'll definitely check it out. I do want to know more about Gotham Knights. Colt, I know you don't give a shit about Gotham Knights because you hate video games now, but...
hey!
What do you...
I mean, we've always had plans to give that a fair shake while we make fun of it and maybe have some fun, but...
Batman might be in it. Batman!
Yeah. I usually like to play Batman games where I'm actually Batman.
I don't know. Well, in this one, you play as a kid that escaped a daycare and you're wearing Batman uniforms. I don't know.
It's more like Batman Dollar General Halloween version or something. Like
I like that one.
You're running around in I guess Gotham franchise characters you've never heard of,
like the sidekicks, basically. Bat. Yeah. Hopefully they do a great job on it.
Girl Bat and Gotham Guy and Clown Face.
The Gotham Gang.
What the hell are we talking about?
We're talking about Gotham Knights.
What? You don't know the people that are in there?
Yeah, Zucker, the Gotham Gagger's in there. He's DLC though.
Yeah.
You guys are weird.
Girl Bat. Get it right. Girl Bat.
Girl
Gotham
Bat.
Guy.
Hey, y'all weird.
Dumpster Boy.
Hey, I can't wait to play it, honestly, because I even played an Arkham-type game. This one's open world. It's got some stuff in it, but Warner Brothers would be interesting to see what they got, and apparently not much. They're not going to focus on much. But let me get back to the schedule here after the PC event no one gives a shit about. Monday, we've got Take-Two panel. That's at 10:15 a.m. Pacific. All these are Pacific. Again, Indie Showcase at 12 p.m. You got Capcom at 2:30, where they will announce they're selling to Microsoft. No, you got Capcom's at 2:30. I wonder what they'll show. And then you've got Tuesday, Nintendo. Again, a word I haven't said in 7 minutes now, not 7 months. Bandai Namco at 2:25. And then you've got the E3 awards. And here's my my closer on those times, and we'll go into Xboxes specifically. Xbox, well, E3 isn't dead. E3 came back.
Yep.
You didn't mention that Take-Two is charging for theirs.
Oh, yeah, Take-Two is... Did I actually might have skipped Take-Two? Did I mention Take-Two's? I might have skipped that.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned
Okay, yeah, Take-Two. I don't know what they'll... Yeah, they'll probably charge for theirs. Shout out to Strauss Zelnick. But, yeah, E3 is not dead. Like, last year, we were all saying, like, look, COVID, they're not having an event this year, and they're just doing all this crap on their own. They don't want to pay X, Y, and Z millions of dollars. Is this like, where's this taking place at, and how are they doing this, and are you surprised that E3 actually is still around? Because while it's easy to see now, last year we were saying, who knows, this might be the thing that makes people realize they don't have to spend this money to be at this convention, or is there a convention? Is it a physical thing as well at all? People are starting to do things again.
I don't know.
I think it's more of like last year showed that especially for like Xbox and a lot of these people, they probably miss like the fans, and they miss actually doing the show and having E3 handle a lot of the little things, and they didn't realize how hard it is to make a show like this. And so E3 is just come back pretty big. I mean, like they have everybody there but, Sony, and I mean, is there someone else that's not there? Maybe EA is going to basically be there, right, with the Battlefield showing. And
E3 doesn't have to do anything other than make sure the bathrooms work. Like everybody brings their
to keep
stuff to the.
Keep that one guy out of the bathrooms. Who was that?
Well, you forgot about the Keeley show too on Thursday.
Oh my gosh, Steeler, that's such a great memory. I mean, when you go to E3, like you're each team or platform or studio has to do all the work and pay the big money and get their expo and be there, pay the fees, and E3 is like a cash cow for. It's gonna come back, and Jim and I are gonna be there, and we're gonna talk Steeler into going.
Let me give a shout out to Mike real quick on Twitter. He just sent me a DM, and he's talking about, hey, Ratchet and Clank portals, they're supposed to be pretty impressive, but didn't Titanfall 2 do that? This is not the same thing, sir. This is not even close to the same thing. You're talking ridiculous amounts of detail, along with so many things going on. It's far more complex than a split universe in Titanfall 2, which has actually been achieved before Titanfall 2. So, this is just different. It's different stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was going to say that, of course the E3 is not dead. Gamers everywhere like us want E3 to be there. We want, if you're not going, you're at least watching on the internet, and you're checking out the shows. We're invested into this, whole E3 and all this, and gaming and the hobby, so much so that we're willing to watch it despite any pandemic or anything. Like people, I'm sure would go there today if they could. It's just it's just that simple. Like us gamers, we want to watch E3. So of course it's not dying.
Hey, shout out to Dreadpool as well. I'm going to add you as a moderator. You didn't ask for this responsibility, sir, but I'm giving you the hammer because I like Dreadpool. He's really cool. And we need to have him on the show again soon. And some days, some moderators can't make it. So it's always good to have Lethal. Lethal been handling this chat like crazy. He's done an amazing job. Yeah. But, another one ain't going to hurt. And, we had a situation on Discord where a guy got in, was causing some issues, and it created a whole rift. That's all it took, right? So, again, we will definitely be keeping that stuff moderated and just locked down and good for the chat, because I didn't really understand or think about how it affects, how people can concentrate on the show. So again, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to go ahead and move forward. E3, all those are times. It's still alive. It's not dead. I defibbed it like Battlefield. Shout out to Pepeo Pyromancer, who's still banned. He wants to be in the chat. I'll have to go find you. You mentioned all the E3 shows, but what about the Keeleys? The Keeley show. I just delivered a doll to him in Death Stranding.
Yeah, the big game fest on Thursday with Jeff Keighley.
I don't really care about that, to be honest. But if you do,
really,
give people the details.
I heard they're going to show Elden Ring. So
Xbox has some kind of appearance there. At least one or two things. We just don't know what yet.
Yeah. Probably some new Halo socks.
Well, That just killed the show.
It did.
Point about YouTube, not YouTube. E3.
What?
Can I make a point about E3?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes.
We can barely hear you, Tim. Sorry.
I don't know.
There you go, right there, bro. You need a fucking boom arm is what you need, bro. You don't have to sit up to it. Bring it to you, you know?
Yeah.
So
We'll send you
E3 was in a really bad state at one point this year, and I'm really happy that Phil and people push for it, and just really happy that Xbox is there. I had said I remember in the beginning of the year, I said this probably done, E3's done, but it looks like it's gotten itself back on its feet, or we're gonna get itself on its feet on Sunday. And I think that anybody who says that they don't like E3 or they don't, don't care, they're lying to themselves. They're just making an excuse for a corporation.
Tim, where is? Go ahead.
What?
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I mean, what I wanted you to keep saying, keep talking about it. But why isn't PlayStation at E3? I know they can do their own event, but
They'll be at E3. The last time that this is something that people don't know about. They complained that Xbox was getting a free ride because they had their own venue. So they wanted to have either some discount or this cheapo company, that asked for money for crossplay. This is the truth.
why doesn't Sony go buy their own theater then? Why are they whining?
They that's why they didn't go, was because they said, why should
I don't
Xbox listen, that's why they complained. Trust me. Keegley and those guys know they complained. Keegs knows.
Let this man
they
fucking talk,
complained
Jesus.
because
Man,
Xbox had its own venue. Remember when they said they were going to do it at their own thing? They said it was an unfair advantage and that they shouldn't have to pay or they should get a discount because they're getting their show basically for free. So
remember
that's
that.
why that was one of the reasons
That's
why
not
they pulled
true.
out.
So
Did
you're
not
saying
Xbox say that they were still paying the fee to be there, even though they had their own venue? They were still a part. They still kind of
I
chipped
vaguely
in.
remember that. Yeah.
Like Xbox was still
listen,
paying the E3 commission to be there, so that they could be just off site and still be included in the whole with the badge and everything, right?
Listen, this was told to me by people that know, that are in the know. Okay, Sony was complaining that Xbox had the Microsoft Theater and felt that it was an unfair thing, that they get perks and they can do more, and that's an unfair advantage, and that's why they pulled out. And that's why, when they had their 2013 venue, it was such a bad idea, when it was like a joke and so cheap. They're basically, that's the story about that. But it looks like E3 is getting back to what it was, and next year, let's be there.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that they wanted show parody?
Oh,
You know what? I think there's
I
some
don't
truth
know
to that, though.
what
K
you
Mega
wanna
said,
say.
"That's nuts."
Listen,
Sounds like a lot of
Listen.
speculation.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
there's truth to that, obviously.
No, I
the
believe it.
reason
I
that-
believe if Tim
I'm
got it from
hearing that
someone, he's saying that. I believe 100%
Yeah, for
that.
sure, 100%. And Sony,
Listen,
the
this is
rumor
what-
right now is that Sony, towards the end of June, is going to have their own presentation. I guess like an E3 like show. I've been hearing that.
I don't argue that Tim didn't hear that. I'm just saying it just sounds
is it
like a lot
really
of
true? Well, listen, Sony's asking for money for crossplay, so
Well,
just
that's true.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
that's a good show.
They don't offer refunds. That's all you need to know.
Oh,
you have
Go ahead,
man.
Tim. Go ahead, Tim.
you have to consider some things here. They haven't been to an E3 for the last E3. Was an absolute joke. Remember, they had it in the church or whatever.
You mean a circus tent?
Which one you
Get
got
up
with
on that
scrambled
mic,
eggs?
Kim. Get up on that mic real close.
And they basically showed the same show that they had for 2017. Okay, that was the last time they've been there. They have actively said that they weren't going to go there in 2019, and also 2018, and then 2019, they haven't been there for 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
The deal is. But that's what I have heard. I don't want anybody to write an article about that or anything like that, because it is
Too
at
late.
the end of the day, it is at the day a speculation. But I did hear that they were upset about that, and just judging Sony by what Sony does, I'm sure it's the fact. But my point is that the fans really should be the centerpiece, and Xbox has always made the fans the centerpiece. This year they can't because of the COVID, but they've always made it about the fans. And listen, I think that if Sony would come back next year, it would be great, because I love the whole spectacle of it all. So I'm hoping. I listen. Am I a little salty that they're not there? Yeah, I always thought it was like so awesome when you would have the Xbox show, and then down the street you'd have all the Sony fans gathering and
in the trash
around.
Cans and the dumpster.
No, there was a real real cool vibe to it. They were obviously in competition, but there was also camaraderie with the fans and the different communities. And I wish we could get back to there, but E3 was in dire straits. But now it looks like I think Xbox really kind of saved it. If they didn't go this year, nobody would care. We'd be wondering when Elden Ring is showing.
Well, you know what? Well, I want to welcome everybody to the Real Deal Sony podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. By the way, speaking of that, we will, as always, have a show right after E3. We will start pushing this on Twitter, stuff like that, Thursday. Tim suggested that's a good idea. Well, so just right after the show, we will be here, and we'll be talking about everything that's happened, and it should be really, really fun. We might
Did you say Thursday?
We will start pushing it on Thursday.
Oh, okay. I'm
like talking about.
Welcome to Cody Switch Brain. It's fucking tumbleweed flying through. So yeah, that should be fun. We will see all of you guys back here. We're not done, but I'm just letting you know, because I did forget. We will have a show right after E3 on Sunday, and we might even be back on Tuesday, depending on what's happened. There are developments there. So again, shout out to everyone here. Shout out to almost 2,000, 1,900, whatever, here watching live. Hit the like button if you haven't. Show a buddy or two as we move forward. After I get a few of these new super chats here, because again, you guys support the show. I try to do better at getting as many of these as possible, though I can't always get all of them. Not Trema. I can't pronounce that properly. Honestly, Ratchet and Clank was a visual game. Okay, visual game. We'll just say lust. He says coming E3, we need to see that from Xbox. Yes, we do. We needed to see that last year when they were showing off their new console for the first time. He does say show the set pieces and the stage for all the games. Yes, sir. We want to see the most and the best that they have to offer. Glenn, and we're going to get to that detail, by the way, after this. A couple super chats here. But we got one from Brett. Bring him. He says, this year's Xbox's 20th anniversary. Phil wants them to put everything out there for people to see that Xbox has done. Well, I don't know if he wants them to put everything out there, but yeah, he wants them to see what people have to play. He also says, while it may not be at E3, I support some big news this year, he suspects some big news this year. So hopefully, yeah, there should be some pretty good news this year. And then we've got another one. Glenn in the super chat, he says, finally, I made it. He says he made it on time. Did your entire videos. I struggle to even hear you. And CC doesn't. So I guess in closed caption, I need to enable closed caption on the videos or something like that.
That's a YouTube problem.
Yeah,
it's been not enabling them by default, and I get some of the same comments as well.
I'm sorry about that, Glenn. Sorry about this. I wish there was something I could do about that, brother. Hopefully YouTube, they got a lot of problems. Hopefully they get it together. Flapjack Juice says velocity architecture and this stupid thing. Velocity architecture and only loading the assets you're actually looking at, right? We used to talk about this as smart rendering, smart GPU features years ago, me and D-Batch. Loading things you're only viewing or close to might possibly keep games backwards compatible. I'm not sure about that. I think they've already got that solution and stuff figured out. By the way, Psychonauts was telling me that Fidelity FX is coming to the Medium. Does that mean
Yes.
that game might actually run at 60 FPS one day? That'd be really nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go back to it, but okay.
K Mega, by the way,
Soccer
says
feels good.
K Mega says showing support, get hype for E3. He wants some biting games, man. He wants some biting games bad. He really wants to Killer Instinct 2 and a new Capcom game as well. But he says don't lower our
You need to bring
expectations.
that back.
Just enjoy what E3 offers. This is Gamers Christmas. Yes, sir. Shout out to K Mega. We played 2K last night with Randall Thor and Psychonauts. And then we'll come back and get some more super chats. But again, chat, let us know your thoughts on some of this stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting times. That's kind of the number one thing. Be excited, but be realistic, right? We're going to get into what you should be realistic about, in our opinions, if you happen to care what we think about this. Xbox preview announcements and new studios, stuff like that, acquisitions. Starfield and Halo should be in big focus of the show there, Tim Dog. And really, we should finally see what Starfield looks like. What do you expect for this Starfield action? Tim Dog.
Starfield.
He got too close to the mic, crawled inside.
Starfield.
And he got another 200 followers.
Now he's
Exciting and new.
it's a show. It's a musical now, Chad. Starfield, Halo, big
No,
emphasis
listen,
on the show.
Huge. Listen, let's be honest. If we didn't know Starfield was going to be here, and in typical Xbox quality, we obviously we know it's going to be there. It'd be a huge thing. It'd also be a huge thing that it's exclusive. So right off the bat, that's a huge announcement. It's huge for exclusivity. I think they're going to show gameplay, and it's a really big thing. And so we're going to get into the E3 portion of the show, I'm thinking right now, Dilo, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm really, listen, somebody mentioned it 2 weeks ago. I was getting text. They're going to drop the ball. Xbox is done. I heard this is horrible. To this week,
Go
a lot of insiders are, they're like, oh, well, maybe it's kind of feeling good now. I'm kind of feeling a little bit better. And, and listen, and that might have been, Xbox definitely has, and I can say for a fact that they have put out feelers to tone things down. They said there's a lot of, from last year, there was a lot of hype. If you remember during the showcase, like we were going crazy. We've always went crazy. I'm the worst with it. 14-0. I go crazy. Listen. I set myself up. That's fine. This is the best time of the year. But they definitely like I think they really pushed it out there. Like, shut up. I think Bethesda has had an influence on them, and their culture, or whatever you want to say, where they say, shut up, don't open your mouth, don't have tweets from, social media accounts, Xbox guys, that work for you guys, and, just keep your mouth shut, push it out to, back channels and insiders or whatever you want to call them, and just, kind of, keep it down. So that was like 2 weeks ago. And what I think happens is, and I talked about this on Twitter, I think E3 is kind of a fluid situation for them, especially with them not being have to go on stage and stuff, and it's digital. That, from what I've heard, the show was still in being, there was still decisions still to be made even as of last week. So I do think that some stuff might have been added in. And I do think that now the overall feeling is Xbox, they really think they have a good show. So we went from temper your expectations to we have a good show. And who knows how much that they're going to add from today to Sunday. If they can add something. They can add an announcement very easily.
Yeah.
And I think Rand was saying that too. Like, he heard that they might even go an extra step. So basically what I feel happened is that they, definitely pushed it out, and now the excitement's building and they're feeling it. And
here's another thing though, Tim. Like, look, we were hearing that they might just play it safe, right? And as I was saying on some other shows and stuff, that doesn't mean that they're not going to show gameplay. That doesn't mean they're not going to announce new things. that just means that they know they're pacing themselves. They can't predict when things will return to normal. But here's another key thing is when we're talking about this stuff, right? The community, the chat, in my videos, I'm sitting there saying, that's not a good idea. Don't pace yourself. Don't play it safe. Go a little hard this year because I'm waiting for that stuff that I was told, they were more excited about what they didn't announce 2 years ago. That we still haven't seen that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think maybe they made an adjustment based off fan feedback.
I 100%. And listen, you could tell, and I'll talk. I just want to make this point. Yeah. You can tell that they've listened to the fans because they were really listening to the fans a lot after the showcase. And they're listening a lot more than they ever had. And to be honest, now they have a lot more that they can add. They've never been in this position. They've never had these all these studios and these games and possible announcements and this and that. They've never been there. When they had their shows, they were closing on Cyberpunk and they were closing on Anthem. They knew exactly what they could get because that's how much juice can you get from an orange. After you squeeze it all, you don't have anything. But yeah, I honestly shout out if it does all come out to be true. There's a lot of rumors. I gotta say the fans really, they made themselves heard and I'm happy. I'm happy, and like I said, I feel the general morale and everything is trending up, and it's just really nice to see because literally 2-3 weeks ago it was trending down, and I think we were all in a party chat and we were all kind of pissy too about it, and I think that they've listened, and I think the show is kind of fast and fluid and.
Just don't let Twitch handle it, right? Don't let Twitch handle the show.
I'm going to say this real quick. I mean, not real quick. I have something to say. So I think that I'm paying attention very close to this event because it is two big, to be honest, publishers coming together in Xbox and Bethesda. And I don't know if people watched, I thought Bethesda had some of the best E3 showings or showcases every year. I loved watching them. They were freaking balls to the wall. They didn't give a shit. It was hardcore, and they just showed you everything. And we're just like, here. And on top of it, Bethesda would show gameplay. A lot of it. They would show, when Skyrim was announced, when Fallout was announced, when any game, Wolfenstein, it doesn't matter. Any game that was announced, they went hard and showed you gameplay and, this is coming soon. Enjoy this shit. And, they were cussing. They just didn't care. So I want to see what these two, because no matter what anybody says here, there's big personalities between both of them. I want to see if Bethesda does have an influence on Xbox and they do show gameplay and they do go kind of balls to the wall like Bethesda knows how to do. Because if they're going to make this the Bethesda Xbox showcase, they did their showcases very differently between each other. So I want to see if there's a happy medium. I want to see if Bethesda actually does tell them hey, you need to start doing this. So that's something Pete Hines was one of the guys that after Wolfenstein came out and they were killing that certain group of people, he was like, yeah, that we got a bunch of hate, but who doesn't like killing them? Roll the fucking tape. That guy said that, and then rolled a brutal freaking thing of them just destroying people. And it was those guys don't mess around. So that's what I want to see. That's what I hope to see at Xbox. I want to see who prevails, who comes together, or if they are going to be in a symbiotic relationship of understanding what needs to be shown. I'm just saying that's why this E3 is different, and people don't understand that it's two big publishers coming together.
You know what it is? They need to really put out a fantastic show right now because honestly, they could capitalize so much right now. Thanks. They can gain even more momentum than they ever had before because right now, I mean, let's be honest. The biggest deal out there going on right now with gaming is Ratchet and Clank, right? So they got this game out there and it's fantastic, amazing, but they've pushed their other big games back. And we don't even have a release date for Horizon Forbidden West. And, I have all my own thoughts on that. But I just think that they could really capitalize right now if they were to have a big E3. Even if they showed games that are 2-3 years out, just showing these games saying, hey, this is what's coming. This is par for the course for Sony. They do the same thing. They say, hey, this is what we got coming in the next 2-3 years, and everybody gets excited for it. And for Xbox, it's it should be the same thing. People should be able to get excited for them as well. So show what you got, bring some bangers, and just knock people off their, Just knock them out with some
Yeah,
good
well-
bangers.
Well, and
That's
I'm
all
not-
we need to see.
Listen, for me, I'm going to just say what I want the most. I want that acquisition that's rumored, and that first and foremost, just because that just proves furthermore that they are still investing and they're still looking to game create, and I want them to push that as far as it can be. So I'm
Yeah,
very
keep
excited
expanding.
about that.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, shout out to,
listen,
I want to get
and-
into the acquisition more specifically in a second.
Yeah.
King Mona. Is that Letha? Go ahead and Thanos. I know you love doing this. Go ahead and Thanos is King Mona. Let's get King Mona the fuck out of here. Just go ahead and make Mona disappear from the chat for just false claims that she has no proof of. So let's go ahead and talk about the acquisition more specifically. That would be someone like Avalanche, something like that. And these guys, they've made some
Hit and misses.
some hit and misses, but that also depends on your preference. And I'm sure we'll have a ton of people saying,
Yeah.
they're phenomenal now, even though you probably didn't like their last game. Myself, it's hit and miss, and I really liked Mad Max. I did not like Just Cause, though it was technically impressive for the hardware, especially Just Cause 4. Just Cause 3 is a perfect example of the same engine or an iteration of it that is optimized through software to enable entirely new things at even a stable frame rate. They have a lot of cool tech. The developers, the manpower there is going to be one of the big things because that's something that you just can't get enough of. Manpower. They got IPs. They don't got no people to build it. So Avalanche, they made Rage 2. I thought it was fun. Open world 60 FPS on 1X.
Love that game.
And they made a bunch of other stuff. So I think that would be a solid get. The second Extinction, I think, has potential, but game preview, that's why I just don't enjoy going in and jumping into stuff in game preview because there's just issues that are not really worth marring your perception of a title, when it could be complete and much better. Speaking of Grounded, something like that, Grounded 1.0, they do expect to be there. So the game might actually launch this year, which would be cool. But, in terms of acquisitions and stuff like that, teams, studios, there's even some mutterings of IP acquisition.
That's
good.
That's something I heard was the IP stuff. And, I have no thing about this. I don't know anything about this. I don't know if anybody knows anything. But the one thing I've always noticed, and I don't know if everybody saw the Warhammer showcase they had. Warhammer, a lot of those games were marketed by Xbox, and some of them had time exclusivity to Xbox. And that's run by Workshop Games, which the Warhammer stuff is insane. There's you could do some crazy games there. I'm wondering if Xbox is working with them because they have licenses everywhere. And they license out comic books, games, shows. They're having a new streaming thing coming out for Warhammer, a whole new streaming service with shows, high quality anime shows. They're pushing their IPs a lot. I'm not saying nobody's ever told me this. This is just something that I've kind of looked at and was man, they have a really good relationship with Xbox. Look at Vermintide on Game Pass. Look at Darktide coming to Game Pass. A bunch of strategy games that are optimized well on Game Pass or on Xbox. That's an IP that I personally hope to see Xbox or anyone work with because I think you get some awesome games like Space Marine or something like that out of them. But as for the acquisitions, I remember last year, everybody was you remember what Xbox said? We're not talking business, we're talking games. That's what they said last year, so no one expected studio talk. And there wasn't any. This time, they're not saying that at all. They're not saying anything about that, so that's something you just look at what they've done in history. History tends to repeat itself. I think there is going to be some acquisitions announced. Do we know what they are? No. Some might know what they are,
I think
but
one.
I think one, yeah. The Avalanche studio, obviously that's something that's been rumored a lot. Crytek has been rumored a lot. There's just a lot of stuff, but the one thing Xbox wants, and they've always said, is even Satya, they want to bring more studios in. And Dealer said, manpower. They need more studios to make more games to push Game Pass, which is already profitable and killing it. We've talked about that a million times. So I expect to see maybe a studio and maybe it gets swallowed up by Bethesda so it can manage it there, or something happens, or they buy a publisher that can run themselves. Who knows? That's the
let me
point.
jump on this real quick because Edward King, brother, just because we're talking about acquisitions first, don't mean we're not going to talk about what you're saying. And just because we don't say something doesn't mean we're saying the opposite of what we didn't say, right? Or if we say something and you assume that we're saying the opposite. No, if we say we don't care about games, we only care about acquisitions, then the super chat is valid. But right now, 1 second, he does say, I don't care about acquisitions. I want to see the games from those acquisitions. It's been 3 years. Xbox hasn't had a big game since Flight Sim. Xbox ain't had a big game since Flight Sim because Flight Sim ain't been on Xbox. We've been talking about how Xbox ain't had a big blockbuster AAA that wasn't racing or something like that since Gears 4 until Gears 5. It's been worse than what you're saying. But at the same time,
I feel like
one second, damn it, let me get past this shit. I'm just saying that, Edward, we're with you. If you watch the show, you know that, right? If you watch the videos, you know that. It's a good point. But at the same time, I'm excited for acquisitions. We are excited for acquisitions as well because that's proof, that's signs that they're taking this seriously. If you didn't know, they just spent $7 billion. We want to see what that means, right?
In 2017, they didn't have jack crap other than Forza Motorsport 7. So,
Halo Wars 2.
Hold on.
Halo Gears and Forza.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I love strategy games. I don't care.
So listen, as far as what
Shut
people
up.
are talking about, big AAA games. Thank you.
Blow me.
As far as big AAA games, Forza Motorsport 7 was the last one, 2017, and it's just Halo, Gears, and Forza. So 2018, they built Xbox Game Studios. They started acquiring and getting teams working. Now, if you do the math, in 5 years, in 2022 or 2023, games will be out. So when Edward, like me, asks where are the games, I don't want games that they crap out in 2 years. I don't want games that they crap out in 3 years. I want 5-year, fully developed, fully funded games coming out, and that's what we're seeing with State of Decay, Fable, Hellblade, Avowed, State of Decay 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's one of the. You know, he's got a point. He's got a great point because I was talking to Jeff Grubb about this the other day, and you know, he said the same thing. Like in 2023, there's going to be so many games dropping into Game Pass day one from all their studios. But up until then they are going to get these multiplats and stuff. But we are going to see these games come to fruition. But you have to understand. They got all of ZeniMax. Just think about that for a second. It's crazy. Like, it still hasn't fully sunk into me that they are part of Microsoft. Like, I know this, but it hasn't really sunk in yet until I see those games come to light and only in Game Pass, only on Xbox. That is crazy to me because we're going to be like, honestly, like I want them at E3 to show games like Wolfenstein 3. Just, you know what? I know it's not ready, but put it out there. Look, here's, a trailer of Wolfenstein 3, whatever. Here, boom, we got that coming. We're not going to see much from id Software right now because, you know, they just put out like DLC for Doom. I get it, Doom Eternal, all that. But you know they're going to come with another Doom game eventually. That's going to be a big banger.
They're working on a new IP.
Or a new IP, DLC, whatever.
The DLC kind of finished the Doom.
Finished it, yeah. But I'm just saying, great development teams, all within ZeniMax. And Bethesda's got their games coming, Starfield. That, you know, they're working on the Elder Scrolls. They're going to have some big, huge IP coming. You got Obsidian with Avowed. Amazing. Like,
a lot of this is coming before 2023.
And that'll be before.
Too.
Yeah, it's just
we get it. Games are coming. We've been hearing that shit for years. All right.
Yeah.
But you gotta
it's
also
fact. It's reality.
Yeah, it's reality.
You gotta know. Listen. If you're an educated, you understand gaming and you understand the industry and you understand how this works. It takes time. Yeah, I understand. You want all these games last year,
last week.
It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
It'll come, and when it comes, I just hope you have the same attitude and you're not complaining about something like, it being 1800p with ray tracing. Like it's the end of the world. Actually show respect and give respect due. There is going to be a shitload of games. And if they continue the path, okay, let's say they acquire this studio that has four or five studios within itself, and then they acquire another studio, and they're up to 35 studios, and they're up to 58.
And half of those go teams after teams, right? And like one team.
You know, I mean, you're talking about a game, a AAA every quarter, and a game every month.
Yeah.
So, like, come on. Like,
but you know that's not going to be enough for those guys on Twitter, Tim. They're still going to
mention
1800p ray tracing.
These are the same guys that they're happy until Sony drops a game, and then all of a sudden they lose their minds. So that's what I've always seen this, and it's unfortunate because one has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
Whatever Sony's going to do is not going to speed up what Xbox is doing. There's a very good chance Horizon gets dropped out of the holiday window. And you know what? You'll have your chance to say, where's your holiday game? Xbox is going to have Halo, Forza, Stalker 2, Gunk, and Flight Sim all hitting, and Age of Empires 4 on PC coming to PC console. You'll have that time if that's what you're really concerned about. But, just be realistic. For me to want more studios, that's just my personal want. Yeah. I want it. I want them to keep growing, and I keep pushing them to keep growing as everyone on this podcast does. So that's just my thing. I want that acquisition. I know Starfield's going to be a huge hit. I know Halo is going to be immense world that's incredibly fun to play. I'm not going to be talking about the shoe in the that's magnified 3 feet. 35 feet out that you will be, but
but their ray tracing's only 1800p.
So just like I said, it's
Colt. You gotta talk to Colt, right? Because we know Colt, games come out and Colt's, he'll be talking about Ratchet and Clank, and he wants these games, and this is. You're still excited for everything that's coming to Xbox? You're not like, this isn't like doom and gloom time, like this.
Oh no. No, I mean, it's a real magnifier on how there haven't been games for 3 years on Xbox, other than a couple, there's been some really big ones, but what I'm trying to get across to people is, starting this year, I wrote in the chat, there's going to be like half a dozen exclusives on Xbox. Well over half of those, I think, are going to be received really, really well. Some of them might be iffy, but what's going to happen from now on is this is going to sound like hyperbole, but if you don't have Game Pass, you're not going to be able to experience everything that Xbox is bringing this entire generation, because you won't be able to bang out $60 to $40 for all these games. Xbox has this plan set in place, and I know right now they're sitting there going, oh man, it sucks because Xbox fans know they need games. PlayStation's top-loaded the launch window with games, and Xbox hasn't. But once they come in, it's just basically just ripping a hole in it, because it's going to be a bunch of games that are going to be coming out. Like Tim said,
that they're top loading, PlayStation top loading, Xbox isn't, because
the logic is
though they both pay for third party. That's global publishing, right?
Yes.
And I think PlayStation's done a better job with games like the Demon's Souls stuff and like that. Yep. But that's not PlayStation first party. PlayStation is doing exactly the same thing and about the same time scale. They just have less studios producing. And this year, Xbox has more games from first party. And next year, they will have more games from first party. And the next year, they'll have more games from first party. I don't think that's the case.
I mean, they're going to be, there's going to be a AAA game, at least one every quarter, but that's only 4 AAA games a year. We know, looking at what global publishing is striking deals, and you have 23 studios, maybe 27 in the near future. So, just do the math that once everything starts falling in place, and it actually starts this summer, there will be several games you'll be playing every quarter, a couple of big AAAs every couple or every 3 months. It's never been like this on Xbox before. So the only question is, are some of these games
anywhere, man? Anywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's no way, because PlayStation has 11 studios right now. Half of those are AAA. Xbox will have 23 or 25 this year, and quite a few of those are AAA, way more than PlayStation. So finally, Xbox can just come to the game with a bunch of really great games to play, and it's going to be crazy. Never before.
I want to pull some people out of the dumpster a minute. No. So basically, and Dealer, this is kind of a reaction to what you said earlier when I was talking. You said we've been waiting for games since 2017. Somebody else kind of reiterated that, and it's very true. But here's the difference, and this is why I was so. This is why I was putting so much
games are coming, and you're excited.
No. I put so much emphasis on the ZeniMax acquisition, because you have to understand, in 2017. All we had was studios that traditionally just made Halo, Gears, and Forza.
We had like 6
That's
of them.
It. So we didn't really have anything over here on the Xbox side that was really creating anything outside of those franchises. So without the new acquisitions, you wouldn't have had anything. You would have been still waiting for, new IP.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, you can no longer say that, oh, you're waiting for games that won't come.
Yeah.
You're waiting for games, unfortunately, because that's how long they take to make. Even if you went from 2017 to now, it's still only 4 years of what, out.
And the pandemic's a big thing that I don't hear
And the
people
pandemic
talking about.
stopped all mocap and everything like that. For a year, people weren't doing a lot of stuff when it came to mocap and things like that. It wasn't getting done. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you got these acquisitions, you got all the ZeniMax. You're going to have some amazing experiences on Xbox, and this is a fantastic thing.
Yep.
It's going to be amazing.
So to be honest, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. This illusion of like Xbox has no games. Xbox has plenty of games. I get it, but it's not going to go anywhere until Xbox does one thing, and it's one thing that I've like talked about on Twitter with some people and on my like comments on my videos. They were all, the question everybody asked me is like, what do you want to see from Xbox? What IP do you want returned, or what do you want? And I gave everybody the same answer. I want Xbox to show me something I didn't even know I wanted yet.
That's the thing.
In. Like no, I want something that like it's not about blowing my mind. It's just something I'm like, wow, I didn't really even think about a game like that. Yeah. Like I want something like that. Like when I saw Gears for the first time, I was like, I need to get a fucking 360 right now. Like that's what I'm talking about. Something that where you just look at it, you didn't even know you wanted. True. That's what Xbox needs to show. And Sony, they've shown a lot of those games. They showed God of War where you were just like, what the fuck, right? Like it blew your mind.
Yeah.
And that's the only time, and I think Xbox, I hope they know that's the only time this stuff will stop. Is when you show something completely different that we didn't know we wanted. I'm not talking about Gears. Gears is always going to blow my mind because it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, like you want a new
ever.
IP to sky-catching.
I just not even if it is a new IP or
just say it.
Even if it is, I'm just saying a game that even if it's not a new IP, something that we're like, wow, way to reimagine that, or just something that it's like, whoa, holy cow! Like that's the only thing that's going to stop this whole bullshit. And hopefully Bethesda does it, or whoever the hell.
They don't even need. I just want to move forward, but I just want to say they don't really have to. Look, asking somebody to reinvent the wheel or create something that's mind blowing like Gears of War 1 was to us is very, very hard. I would say that, look, just come out with quality games. Wolf 3, right? Halo Infinite, make sure it's much better than it was. Make sure that shit looks, noticeably better. It's not going to look much different. Make sure it looks noticeably better at launch. Halo Infinite better. Should do that, right? They said the whole year was basically for visuals.
But you know what? Right under your nose is Starfield, which is a new IP.
Again, Starfield. We don't even know what that is yet. We have an idea, right? I think Fallout in space. But yeah, you'll see that, right? That's not asking for a lot, and they're going to deliver on that stuff. That's my point. So I'm not going to go that far. I would just say that yes, we're excited. They are finally getting a hold of a ton of studios. But this thing was nuts, and it's awesome. We're happy. But at the same time, show some stuff at E3 and give people a little bit more hype than you did last year, right? So that's all I would say. I think the true fans of the chat could agree. More is better for us, the consumer. Don't give us unrealistic expectations, right? And then just keep things grounded as well. And I think they can do that. Old Dirty Games, by the way. Old Dirty Gamer says, do you think PS5 redesign is going to be about the expansion slot in the PS5? We talked about this a week or so ago, sir. You could probably watch the whole episode and catch it in there somewhere. But basically, long story short, that's for cost, and we explain all that there. Meat Puppet, he does say, he hope Xbox delivers and has a good show. We all do, sir. Yes, but he says he's not holding his breath because they said they were going to they're going to deliver before and didn't. Yes, they did do that, and that is true. So we'll take it as goes. Chris R says, is it a reaction, or is it reasonable to be more excited for this show versus last year's? I think absolutely it is more reasonable. Chinook guy, he says, how tired do you think Matt Booty is right now? Managing all these studios, man. He's going through it. That's true, Chinook guy. He's got a lot on his plate, man, and hopefully the management at Xbox kind of helps him. And then I'll get the last one for now. Nano Polymath, shout out to him, $50 super chat. He's laying it down. And this is for the Xbox community. It says Xbox community made ourselves heard with the power of RDX, GTL, that's Gamers Talk Live, Xbox news, X and C, that's Cole's podcast, Xbox Newscast. Damn, I was blanking. D, Zalker, and Tim Dog, all of the same, as well as everyone in the chat, by the way. Everybody in the chat that speaks your mind. He says, we're all on the same page. We're demanding more, better, and gameplay. One gameplay for sure. The message was heard, and all the hype is real. So, again, Nano, thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate it, brother. Seriously. And,
Nano, the man.
Yeah, seriously. And then one more, Gaming Addict. He says, we need E3. Last year's was rough. And, last year's, we had Major Nelson on the show after E3 last year, and that was interesting. But, wasn't
how you
Game
say
Pass,
it.
Game Pass.
I don't understand how you say it's rough when they announced Forza, State of Decay.
They announced
3.
a ton of games. They did.
They announced a ton of games, and that's what everyone was asking.
But I think
for
it was the
going into
gameplay,
it.
though, Tim Dog. They didn't show anything.
Well,
from anything.
yeah, but let's be honest. We knew they couldn't, and all people were asking for was hey, we just want to hear about game. Everyone was screaming about Fable.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, where's the gameplay? It's like I said to that guy when we're being inundated with games in 18 months or whenever it is, and you're drowning in games and you can't even keep up. What are you going to be complaining about then? Because it's going to be something. Because that's all you do.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait for them.
Okay, I gotta say, I'm tired of how people are so entitled to this whole we need to see gameplay when games are first announced. Okay,
Yeah.
Traditionally it's been about, hey, here's a trailer on a game or something that we just announced. Yes, if they show it a second time, then there should be gameplay. But an announcement? No, I'm not expecting gameplay on a first announcement.
Well, on Starfield,
to
I'm
me-
absolutely expecting gameplay on the first announcement.
Oh no, that's already
That
been
wasn't the
announced, though.
first
They've already
announcement, though. You're talking about the
But
first
they've al-
showing.
They already showed they announced it and showed the little trailer.
Yeah.
And that was fine. That got people hyped up. That's all you need for an announcement. But gameplay comes later, and it's always been the case. Sony's done this for years.
I know.
Nobody complains that they do that. Nobody.
2016, they did it and everyone loved it.
Yeah, they
That's
could
what
because
I-
they continually had games coming out and previous gameplay shown before. But I agree with you. Like, I like the fact that they say,
"Hey, look at this game to believe in."
Like,
I mean, no,
How
I don't think it was ever.
Forza, like Forza, I'm sorry to interrupt, Cole, but I got to make this point. How do you really, Forza, who's going to melt your face off.
Of course.
And
face.
Fable has a very good chance to do the same. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. Everyone before that show literally was like, I want to see Fable and I want to see a new IP. And then they get it and it's like, Halo sucks, and where's the CGI?
You know what? You just said it.
I want
You
to
just
see
said it,
Game
though.
Grow.
You said it, Tim. You said it. I think that we all, you were there. We gave the show
Yeah,
praise for
well,
announcing multiple new games. They announced a ton of new games. And
Halo
then
was-
they showed off Halo, and it wasn't ideal, right? So much so that they delayed the damn game a year. Now, and I don't think anybody expected gameplay of Avowed the very first time. And we even got like a snippet of what it could be like at the end of that trailer. I thought that was great.
You still had people pissed off that there was no
those
gameplay
people,
for
you
Avowed.
can't help them. You can't help them. Microsoft don't want to do that kind of
It's
stuff.
ridiculous.
They're not going to show you gameplay the very first time for the most part. Now, I think with Wolfenstein 3, if that's shown this year, they'll probably show you gameplay of it. It's that close.
Well, and I don't agree with the last year was rough. I actually enjoyed Sony's events and Xbox's events.
What
Like
did you give last
Xbox's
year's
event
show?
that
I
they
don't
had.
remember.
I don't know. I think I gave it like a 8.
I was a 9. I was
I think I was like an 8 or 8.5 or something. Like the thing that brought it down was like, for me, the thing that brought it down was the visuals of Halo. But the one thing that I remember talking about this, the thing I liked is that they showed a shit ton of guns. The guns sounded cool, looked fun to play. Like it looked snappy when you shot. It didn't look like shit.
Yeah.
That to me, like just the visuals were the problem. Everything else, like the open world aspect, driving around, like going to different types of parts of the world. I can't wait to play Halo, and I'm gonna play with my friends. I can't wait. But did it look weird? Yeah. But and people, focused on Craig and all that shit.
Master
It's like,
Chief had a
I don't
googly
really
eye.
care. Yeah, like it was googly eyed and all that. But to me, I thought the show was really well done. They showed a lot of things, and the number one thing. And, a lot of peers talked about this a year ago, and a lot of people that are influencers talked about this, is that every game shown is Game Pass. Like, do you know how insane that is? Every game shown at that event is going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Day and date. And that's something that they taught. They were like, hey, every game you see here, day and date on Game Pass, by the way, including the third party, including the ones before. Like, that's pretty impressive, everybody.
You know
like,
what
that's
else
one
is
thing that I took
day
from
and
it.
date, though, Zucker? And that's a good point, and we're going to get to that for the next show, right? And we still have stuff to go into, by the way. Is 2,000 people watching the show. So if you haven't, hit the like button, guys. We do appreciate it. Thanks for being day and date on RDX podcast and checking us out. And,
I hate you.
and all that stuff. So let's just try to get to 1,000 likes. Tell a buddy or two. And again,
throw a T-shirt out there. You know, you want
Punkadish just left a comment and had me crack it up. Also, shout out to everyone in the chat, guys. Shout out to everyone in the super chat channel members, all that good stuff. And everyone on the RDX Discord server, which I will put a link up to here soon in the community section of the YouTube tab for the members and patrons, stuff like that. We have a lot to say on this stuff, obviously, because we're excited. And we've been through multiple years of it's just, pandemic's throwing a lot of stuff off. So we want the best for, I guess, Xbox, right? We want the hype and morale and all the old, I guess, what is that? That's it's nostalgia.
It's gonna be a fun show.
Nostalgia
Honestly,
E3,
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
I think this whole weekend, even starting from Thursday with the Keeley show, or the Kegel show, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. Like I can't wait.
All right, so we covered a little bit of Starfield.
We covered a little bit of Starfield.
We're going to go back over.
I'm excited.
Hang on, I gotta say something kind of weird that just came back to my memory. But
I'm excited.
I think we get a little over dramatic or melodramatic about like what's coming and like how good a game's going to be. But this was kind of funny. Like right before I woke up this morning, I had a dream that I was playing Halo Infinite, and that's not like normal that I have a dream I'm playing a game because I play them so much on my free time. But I had a dream that I was playing Halo Infinite, and I was like in this gun battle, and there was it was a purple like Covenant type Warthog, like four-wheeler, like you could drive like a truck. But it was like in Covenant shape. And this isn't anything in the game, but in my dream, like this was a real thing. And I was in this firefight and I ran over and hopped in this Covenant truck and it's like, boom, 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 and I started bahawing away and shooting while I was driving. Like, I was like, wow, that was so fun. I woke up like, oh, well, that wasn't real. That was a dream. But it reminded me like Halo Infinite looks really fun. And I know we like get down about the visuals, and I talked about them in my last video, and some journalists went a little crazy, but sometimes we just forget that sometimes a game is so dang fun. And I think those of you who are paying attention, like Halo Infinite looks really fun. There's going to be millions of people playing it because it's free to play. There's all these online things. I think there's a lot to look forward to, and we get a little crazy and we get a little judgmental about things. I have a good feeling about Infinite. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting.
Me too.
You know what I'm having a good feeling about? Somebody said, okay, so there's speculation out there about this new Arcane vampire game.
Yeah,
Omen. Omen. The speculation is this could be a reboot of Legacy of Kain series because it started with Blood Omen. And I'm telling you, if this is true, oh my God, that's going to make my E3 right there. 10 out of 10. Legacy of Kain is something I've been preaching on the show since we've started. You mentioned that a lot recently, actually. And I want to see a remake of that. Even a remake would be great. But if this is going to be something based on that, oh my God, that'll make my E3.
Agreed. I mean, listen, I remember how big Legacy of Kain, it was big, but I always felt like it should have been so much bigger. I remember playing it on it was 360 and or whenever it was a thing, and I just remember it was like so awesome, but like it didn't really do that great. But if they could revive that, like you said, I think that would be a hit.
It'd be amazing.
Hey, that could lead us into another section.
I think a lot of people also expecting Forza Horizon Mexico.
It goes out of control.
That one I'm really excited, but there's a lot to be excited about, and I'm just glad that we got away from the doom and gloom because we all heard it. We all heard it the past
the past 4 years, 3 years, yeah.
Well, no, the last 3 weeks, and we're all influencers on this. Whatever you want to call us, we are people in the community that are channels to people, and basically we were just given a big stop sign like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, were you?
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's like this. He's right. There was a lot of doom and gloom.
From who?
To a certain degree. No, a lot of us were kind of keeping our expectations.
Who the fuck is us?
Loop me in with you frauds.
If you listen back to our last
all you got to do is listen to me say that people are saying temper expectations, but that doesn't mean they're not going to show new things, show new gameplay, etc.
Dealer, you're one of the guys pushing back against it. I will give you that.
I have a whole fucking tweet saying that. Like,
he tweeted about it.
I don't know. Damn.
Let me but I just want to say this. This E3 though, I really think that because if you're an Xbox fan, if you're a fan of the brand, you know the games are coming. You already know this. So it's a different situation, a different feeling than it was even going into last year. So you already know those games are coming. So this year, whatever you get right now, like I think it's a time to just celebrate and be happy and just be a fan of games again.
Fine,
like,
stop dooming and glooming at E3 all the time, man.
That's what I would but
Well,
seriously,
not-
that's
not
the
for
way I'm
nothing,
looking at it this year.
But
I'm
that
going
was
into
pushed
E3,
out.
and
All right,
it's not just about
To be
Microsoft.
serious.
It's about EA, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Right.
I can't wait to just relax and enjoy the
There's
show.
some cool stuff though.
Can I say something about the Omen game?
Yeah, boy.
I remember when people when Xbox bought Bethesda, people were like, "Well, they're making Deathloop, and so you're not going to get any games from Arcane for a while." Haha. It's like, are you stupid? Do you know they have 2 studios that are AAA in Arcane by themselves, one in Leon and the other one in Austin? And that's what happened. The Austin, Texas team was just like, "Hey, we're working on this game in secret, and it's probably that Omen game." So I don't know, man. I don't think people really realize how big that Bethesda thing was and how many studios are in just one, like Arcane or in Bethesda. Like they have multiple AAA games in just one studio, or AAA studios in one studio being made. Like I'm telling you, it's not going to hit people in the face until the next 2 years, like this E3, next E3, and a bunch of stuff where Xbox starts announcing stuff and Bethesda's dropping and they're dropping and
next week,
dude.
soccer.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like this, I'm just like, I don't think it's gonna. People truly understand how like how much it shaped the gaming world, that Bethesda acquisition. Like it changed the entire make of the gaming world. Like that's what I'm trying to say is that's we're gonna be seeing the full force in this Sunday and from now on. Like, and if that Avalanche thing is true and all the other stuff is true, holy shit!
Holy
like
crap.
that's a positivity.
Anyway.
Taylor, can I get this super chat for you?
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to.
Chuck Eagle says, my favorite podcast, only podcast that you'll hear about Colt's wet dreams about Purple Covenant warthogs.
Oh.
That was a sexy dream too.
It was.
Wow, Colt, you just said a bad adult word for your first time in your
Randy
life. How do you
rolled
feel?
over and said, "Are you okay, Colt?"
Oh my god! All right.
What happened?
Hey, chat. Thank you for rocking out with us. Hit the like button if you haven't. 2,000 people. We do appreciate it as we kind of move forward. Thanks for reading the, Philly's super chat there, Fonz. But you chose one. You knew what you was doing. You set this up. So basically, Tim's
It's
right.
the only one I could see.
Tim's
It's the only
right.
one I could see.
I know. Tim's right. And again, like, I don't know, the whole temper expectations because they're gonna take it easy or whatever. Like, nah. Hopefully they don't. That's all I've ever said, and I really want them to get out there. D-Batch is alive. Holy shit. Well, D-Batch, I want to get your opinion on some of the stuff we're going to get into right now about the actual event, which is what I've been trying to do. But let me pull this up and get into this a little bit more. So once more, we did talk about Starfield, and I would expect to see gameplay there, even if it launches next year. Hopefully, anyway. Halo Infinite, they're going to show more of that. That will launch this holiday. The acquisition, something like Avalanche, something like that. IP acquisition, though, that's something that could be very well be a thing as well. And I don't know much about this one, but
I talked about a little bit of what I hope, but
well,
yeah, we don't. I don't know. I don't know what
do you
IPs.
hope for? What color car do you want? You got any other hopes? And dreams?
A purple Humvee from Colts.
You know what, Soccer? You and me.
I'm sorry.
Just
no, I don't know. Maybe honestly, Warner Brothers, something from Warner Brothers might, because they're going all out. Like they're I don't know what
can't rescue
AT&T.
everybody, Zalker.
No, it's not. No, I'm not talking about buying studio. I'm saying just like, hey, you guys have money troubles? Well, we'll buy a couple IPs if you give us exclusivity for 8 to 10 years on this game, where we can make like a trilogy or something like. Maybe something like that, where they could go. Huh?
What developers though?
I mean, if Avalanche is a developer, right, and something they buy, they have 4 studios. I mean,
or like saying, why not just cut a deal with these studios that are kind of in flux right now for WB? Like WB, like, hey, let's help fund one of your next games.
It's a shame.
Or what if they buy Techland?
Yeah, Techland. Yeah,
they've been trying to buy Techland for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Techland's too technology based, too technical. Flight Simulator. Right? You're gonna hear about Flight Simulator, and you're gonna see all the Flight Simulator stuff for console finally. And that's gonna look gorgeous, right? Tim, I can only imagine how good it's gonna look on Series X.
Tim, was there like a little bit of truth there for Techland and Dying Light 2 for a little bit?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think Techland was always, they listen. Anything that's offshore money is considered is going to be talked to or is going to be discussed. You can definitely know that. But yeah, I've heard that. Who knows? Maybe there's a lot of things at Techland. It's intricate. Probably they also had that problem with that stupid guy that. Whatever.
Which stupid
whatever. The Avalone, he supposedly made some comments, or they got rid of him. Chris Avalone. There was some kind of controversy. I didn't follow it, but I think he got off the game.
He was the guy that used to work with Obsidian, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
get up on that mic, Tim. You sound so.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And I would never leave you at E3, like you dream, like the other dream that you had. No, just joking around. But I think that they were talking to Techland, and anything that's offshore, Avalanche is offshore. If that's who we're hearing, I mean, that's what I'm reading. But yeah, they're from Sweden, I believe, so they're a possibility. What we just told? What was the question, dealer?
Talking about IP acquisition. What's your best?
Acquisition.
I think it's very real. And if they get somebody like, let's just say, Avalanche, who said that they have 4 studios. You could throw one studio on, I hate to say this, but like Banjo, and another studio on another IP, and then supposedly maybe they have one in the works. Again, that's 4 studios. Where they're going to go, if possible, if it does land, is probably the biggest question of all. They're going to go under Bethesda, or are they going to go under their own, or how they're going to work that. If that happens, that's my ultimate want for the E3 is for that deal or that rumored deal to go through. But yeah, I think for the IPs, I think Xbox is trying to be creative here, and I do think that they like the big names too, like Indiana Jones, and I think that that's going to be a theme this generation is that both Sony and Xbox go after big names, like big type of IPs like that. But listen, if they get this studio, that I would say Warner Brothers is also in play at that point, because I feel like Warner Brothers is in a real bad position. They should have sold when they were selling, because they probably would have gotten a lot more money.
Yeah.
But now you see the writing on the walls. Different people now own it, and I don't think that they have any use for it, and it's just going to suck for all those developers.
And we haven't even talked about IO Interactive. And IO Interactive working on something for Xbox.
Yeah, I don't think that will be at E3 though.
No, I know it's a little ways out, but again, just another huge studio working on it, dude.
Hey,
whatever.
What about the I've heard recently Crytek.
Yep.
And I've said this I'm a
Evil Dead Agent, dude.
Yeah, I'm a true fan of Crytek. Like I follow them and all the stuff that they do, and a lot of people, they don't keep up to date. Their engines are incredible, and I think Crytek games, like they've been good. I think they've lacked some story elements, but whatever. With all the studios that Microsoft has acquired, they can help them in these areas where they're weaker, right? They can all collaborate together and plug the holes that are in Crytek. But the engine itself, that would be a huge win for Microsoft going forward. I honestly put their engine up there with Unreal. Like I think they make a fantastic engine, and to me that would be a highlight for me at E3 if they do announce this acquisition.
They got so many engines I don't know. Though, D. They got so many engines.
I don't know. Say something like Son of Rome 2 coming or some shit like that.
Well, the only game I can see them doing if they push Crytek. Actually, I did a lot of research on them because there was I was getting DMs like a mother about Crytek, and the only game that they really have brought out is the Hunt, and then obviously the Crysis reboot, the they made it or whatever, and it's a dated game. It's 2007, people, so it's gonna shoot like crap. They just gave it different visuals. Now, the Crysis game has always been the benchmark of graphics for a while on PC. There was that rumor of, oh yeah, your PC's pretty beefy, but does it run Crysis? Like that was like the whole.
That
joke
wasn't a
going
rumor. The
on.
PC was beefy. It was real beefy.
Yeah, no, it just no. But what I'm saying is that they've been selling off studios like Crytek has. They are down to I think 3 studios now, and so they have 3 studios in Europe and then I think one in Russia. And they're pretty talented, and they changed their entire leadership. They focus more on the engine and on like decent games, and then VR games to keep the lights on. They remind me a lot of, minus the engine, of Obsidian.
Yeah.
Like talented people, but just like need deals to keep the lights on.
I don't know, man. Like, games wise, and Obsidian always made better games, but Crytek. Are you saying Phil Spencer got looking through a sniper scope right now? He got aimed at Crytek. What's going on? What are you trying to confirm here, Zucker, the insider?
I mean, people were sending me freaking things about insiders saying, "Oh, Crytek and blah 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 and this and that and all this stuff." And to be quite honest, I was hearing about this shit last summer.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask the real insider?
Randall Thor's here?
Yeah, Crytek for years has been going through financial problems all the way back to 2011, I think. So, or even before then, there's been stuff going around about this. So it's one of those things where, you can't really sustain. You can't even pay your employees. There was an issue where we couldn't pay their employees, unfortunately.
I just want to say, as a gamer and like the higher ups out there in the tech world, they can't allow Crytek to die, man. Somebody needs to buy that studio because they have awesome engines, awesome developers there. And like I said, if Microsoft were to acquire them, man, they would fill all those gaps, all those holes that they have. And I think they'd be in a much better situation. I really want that engine, man. I've been saying it for years. Grab that shit, man.
I'm more impressed by something like id Tech, right? But yeah, Crysis, especially years ago, was the most impressive engine around. And something like Rise, they do retain the IP, right? So they do own the Rise IP, and they do have IPs like Crysis. But I could see that being something worth buying if you could get it for the right price, for sure, D.
Yeah, man.
Oh, sure. But I mean, in terms of announcements, Forza.
There you go, pie in the sky, people.
Another Forza. Throw your pie in the sky, catch it with your eye. We've also got Flight Simulator. Again, news on Flight Simulator. Coming to console and all that stuff. Psychonauts, that should be, August. And a lot of emphasis on Game Pass, which hopefully isn't overbearing. Now, I get it. Game Pass. Right? Major Nelson did it on the show. We get it, but there's a certain level that you can do this with that won't feel like it's you're selling something the whole time, because that's something that I believe is one of the best things about E3. It seems like a big treat kind of for gamers, right? It's like the Super Bowl of gaming, but without the commercials. And you're just seeing the best stuff and the most exciting stuff. And I just don't want it to be overbearing with Game Pass, because everyone knows about Game Pass, and everyone else that doesn't know will know about Game Pass, mostly due to word of mouth. And that's still in full effect. I expect Game Pass marketing there. That's fine. I'm not saying don't, because I know someone will say, since I didn't say it, I said it. But we want a certain amount that's not crazy overbearing, and keep the show smooth and kind of just rolling smooth,
Yeah, but Game Pass means games.
Yeah, Game Pass means games.
Just throw a little tag, a little sticker on there saying, Game Pass Day 1. Boom, flash it real quick as the game shows, and that's it,
Yeah, expect a lot of Game Pass Day 1, just like the exclusive, right? So
I expect games to drop into Game Pass that day, like a lot of them, because the June lineup was kind of like meh. And then they were like, just wait. And so that's what they do everything. They're gonna probably announce some deals they've signed, right? Because that's what they've done, right? Like MLB, boom, dropped it. Outriders, boom, dropped it. So I expect them to announce a couple games coming into Game Pass. Word of warning: don't buy anything right now, like on sale. Like honestly, just wait.
One thing to consider is that you're not going to get deals like Battlefield 6, which I heard was. I heard that the people were laughing about that stuff and the claims as people put out there from people. So I'll take that with a grain of salt.
So Battlefield 6 not happening, you think?
Yeah, I listen. I was always in that boat. But the thing is that Xbox gets blamed because people now are expecting Battlefield 6, like really expecting Battlefield 6 Day 1 in Game Pass. But as Jeff Grubb had said it best. You're not going to get a deal until you get like 3 weeks before, for a couple of reasons. Pre-orders, and they also see how the market's developing. So let's say that like there's a 70-30 split, and it's shaping up that way. That's going to say, okay, well, than EA or whoever the publisher is who's putting out the game. They're going to say, well, we calculated that this much money has to go in, and you have to put this much money in. So don't expect Battlefield 6 or anything in the future for those Game Pass gets. The Game Pass gets, the big ones, you'll probably hear, like Dying Light. Let's just take Dying Light for an example. That might come like 2 weeks before the announcement, just like Outriders.
Yeah.
Or the game that what's that game? The game that's trying to be like Left 4 Dead. It's like a
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood. Could see that 2 weeks before announced. So just consider that. Consider the timelines for the show and Outriders. And I do think Game Pass is going to have an awesome show. I expect Watch Dogs in there, maybe Assassin's Creed, Valhalla. A lot of their marketing deals previously show up, so I'm very excited about that.
So good.
All right.
As the great TV host would say, the cook that made the salad and said, so good. I don't know his name, but shout out to him.
Oh my God.
So good. Hey, again, there's some cool stuff. Again, hopefully Wolf and maybe Wolf 3 stuff will be there. But I think this E3 is probably one of the most straightforward E3s we've had in several years, and that's not a bad thing because we're hearing, definitely much better, much more in terms of stuff that you could play than we heard last year. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Well,
you know what I'm ready for? I was gonna say, you know what I'm ready for, and it's not related to like Microsoft. I'm ready for a next Max Payne, man. It's been a while since we got a good Max Payne.
That's on Rockstar, though, man.
Rockstar, man.
And GTA 5 Online won't die. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh, man. Make another Max Payne game on next generation graphics.
Not
man.
happening.
Come on.
I'm telling everybody to stop playing GTA 5 completely. Don't buy this next one, so they'll come out with GTA 6.
I know. Isn't that retarded? Like this,
Oh my
they're
God,
coming out with another
jeez.
version.
Dude,
Oh my
opinions
God.
and views of RDX do not represent those of D-Badge.
You said they want to retire it.
Oh
Instead
my
retire it.
gosh, I'm canceled. They canceled me.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So,
well,
it's interesting.
One of the points I do want to make, and Fonz did say it, like going into this E3, last year going into E3, the number one thing was want games announced. I want new games announced. And that was why I gave it such a high score, was because that's exactly what we were looking for. Now we're looking for different things. We're looking for more gameplay and show some of the games that are coming, Starfield and some of the stuff, and possibly and more games too. I think that's safe to say. But yeah, this E3, I'm really feeling good about it, just because, just even the sentiment, not even like just the sentiment around Xbox. Like a couple of weeks ago was a little bit down. I think that they were pissed about the shortages. And, I do think that there is a rallying cry right now for this E3, and maybe they listened to all of us and they extended it, because like I said earlier in the show is fluid. So they could, if they come up tomorrow and Phil wakes up and had a dream like Cult, and I want to put this in. They could put something in. They could shoehorn something in the last couple of days. So just love the Xbox fans, and they're pushing for. Sometimes I get annoyed and stuff because I think it's overly critical. But the real Xbox fans that want Xbox. You know who you want in a good. You know who you are in a good place. Thank you for just being who you are.
Yeah.
Because I really think we're gonna have a good E3, and I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to be on the after show. Hopefully, not fighting with the panel. Hopefully, we are happy. Because Dealer did call. Dealer came in and he was like,
Yeah, hell yeah, I did.
So
And I doubled down on that shit.
What the hell is going on with this game?
And guess what? Tim? Because of people like me, you're getting a better Halo Infinite this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
so yeah,
you made your point, and I was arguing a little bit back.
And that game looked like fucking mountains popping in and shit. Shout out to everybody in the chat, on Twitter, on fucking YouTube that said shit like it was and said, "Look, this is Master Chief. What the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together." Delayed.
But I'm really excited about E3 and the show. Everyone listening, please tune in. We're gonna go right live after it, right, Dealer?
Yeah, we're going live right after, and that's the difference, though. I think that they learned something from last year. Don't show games that aren't fucking ready to be shown. And definitely, Tim, I'm thinking we'll see a lot more gameplay this year than we did last year. And we're
100%.
forgetting that the last event didn't even really have third-party stuff there. You might even have some stuff show up that, that's something that I missed.
Right.
is
I
having
think
those
there's going to be
deals,
some
yeah.
surprises, man. I really think that there's going to be things that we don't even know about, because there really hasn't been crazy rumors going around yet, and it's nuts to me that it's less than a week away and we haven't heard anything that's really mind blowing. Like we always hear about stuff, about these E3s weeks in advance, and this year it's been completely different. I think they really held on to some things. And I think that there's going to be a few surprises. I really do. I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, it should be good, and that's kind of the vibe. And again, that's why never once talked about this E3 being, hey, it's going to be sucky, it's going to be shitty. They're saying they might play it safe, but I don't think that's a good idea. And that's the most to it, because I think that this year is going to be fun, and I think that that's what Xbox fans deserve, because we've kind of been through a lot, and I think people in general have been through a lot. So give them a treat. Don't double the price of Xbox Live. Give them something to be excited for, right? So that's always keeping it real. That's what the show's about, and that's why I love this panel, because even if we don't agree, we're still, it's a discussion. It always will be, and it's between friends. And chat, thanks for joining us. That's our final topic. You guys are amazing. E3, pretty straightforward. And yes, Tim, you say something?
I'm loving it. I'm just
Oh.
really pumped. I'm like just screaming out things,
Woo!
like as the show went on, I'm just really happy. Like I said, this week is like a really good energy to it, and just judging by E3s, I look back, we all take this seriously. I've always been in LA at this time. Next year I'll be in LA at this time, hopefully with some of the panel members here. But like usually up to the week, you always get kind of like a vibe, and my vibe this year is good. So I'm really feeling good about that stuff. Like I said, I'm just so happy that the doom and gloom and the under temper this and that, which, like I said, probably was pushed out by Xbox itself, probably because they had Bethesda in their ear, like shut your mouth.
That's why.
It's just like Fonz has been saying, like it just feels real good. It's a happy time to be a gamer. This is what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
Well, Xbox is actually competing right now already. You know what I'm saying? Like we're already seeing that. And so it's a different feeling than from last year. So it's completely different going into this year's E3. It really is.
This other Zinc says, I hear Sony's playing it safe for E3 2021. Hey, Brainstorm says, what about the tweet between Ninja Theory and Team Ninja?
They work together on Enslaved Odyssey of the West.
Yeah.
So
maybe they're working on something. That's another partnership. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on again, So we're going to do some outros, and I'll get to a few super chats. But seriously, chat, thanks for joining us, guys. Over 2,000 tonight. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's get up to 1,000 for the end of the show. And again, maybe show a buddy or two. Fight Night Champion footage available only on Xbox platforms, at least when it comes to on modern consoles, right? So you can get back and pat with this game. It looks amazing. Auto HDR, it's fun. This is us clowning around, just trying to throw power straights and knock each other the fuck out. Not even trying, really. Cold Eastwood, tell people where they can find you, and what have you been playing, man?
I'm still finishing up Mass Effect Trilogy. I hope to have it done so I can try out that Ratchet and Clank by the end of the weekend or next week. But honestly, I'm just super busy and consumed by what is coming for E3 and the whole event and doing the show. And speaking of doing the show, when we do the show on Sunday afterwards, that will be my last official appearance on RDX. Yeah, so of course I will come back anytime dealer asks me to come on and be on the show at any time.
It'll be the next week. Hey, Tim's sick. Can you come?
Yeah, so it'll be a great show, and I've been with this show for 4 years, and all these guys are best friends. We talk every day, so that never changes, of course. But yeah, I just can't wait.
He started a
We're gonna be playing it
prostitution
Sunday.
ring, chat. Just he's a real busy guy.
I started a thing where you come in and you pay $20 to talk about your Halo dreams in the most sensual way possible.
Psychotherapy by Colt Eastwood.
Tim made a joke earlier about him never leaving me. I told him one morning that I had a dream that we were at E3 and I couldn't find him, and he was behind the scenes hanging out with Phil and Greenberg and everybody and just and having a great time, and he wouldn't answer his phone like, no, you can't come in, Colt Eastwood. So yeah, it's like, yeah, we've got a long history here, so hopefully we'll all meet up when everything gets back
And
to
chat,
normal.
don't act surprised. Come on. Some of you guys are like, what? Of course. Like, we hinted, if you watch the other episodes, we've hinted at this stuff. And again, it's one of those things where this stuff happens, and we've had other members come and go, or we've had to, move pieces around. And I think the show's improved every single time. And that's not against Cole. I think Cole's done a great job. He's helped make the show great and help form it into what it is. But we're going to continue to deliver on what we do and evolve and move forward, because the show ain't going nowhere, and the chemistry ain't going nowhere. So we'll kind of figure out what's next, and we'll use you to do that. But Colt, again, we do wish you luck, and we are happy for you. And you finally hit 50 subscribers, so that's good. But tell people where they can find you and where they can follow you and what you've been playing.
Yeah, you'll find me on Xbox Live sitting and on Mass Effect. I'm on Twitter all the time, talking and smack and having a good time. And just check out channel videos coming all the time, and doing the podcast on Mondays. So yeah, I'm looking at the chat, making fun of my dreams.
You see Sean in the chat said Microsoft Colt acquired by Microsoft.
Oh my gosh!
Somebody said betrayal.
Shout out to Pong Soul. I see him in the chat. It's the only place I see Pong Soul. He doesn't pay child support from. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Can I say something about Colt leaving?
Yeah.
I manipulated this to happen. I'm happy he's leaving. I'm getting off the floor, and I'm going to sit on the couch finally. Colt, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, God.
And I'm happy now.
Oh,
Chat,
God.
Justice for Zalker, keep it up. We're going to get everybody off, and it's just going to be me and Fawn soon with the little soundboard.
Now we just got to figure out why Bazalker's mic is trash compared to everyone else.
Baby carrots, dude. Baby carrots.
Baby carrots, bitch.
Baby steps. So follow Colt Eastwood on Grindr. D-Batch,
I'm
where
joking, Colt.
D-Batch, where can people find you and what you've been playing?
You can find me on Twitter at D_Batch. Of course, on YouTube at DBatch. I've been playing Resident Evil. I've been playing 2K, and hopefully we'll finish Resident Evil tonight so I can get into that Ratchet and Clank. And I think I'm going to be sinking hours into that. I know everyone's going to make fun of me, but man, it just looks marvelous. It was a good show. Sorry I didn't talk too much today. I don't know. It was just one of those days. I just enjoyed listening to you all talk, to be quite honest with you. So whatever, it was a good show. And Colt, so sad to see you go, buddy. Like, man, oh man, oh man. But
We'll be here Sunday, D-Batch. Don't cry.
Yeah. You know, you're gonna be called on at least once every 3 weeks. Just know that.
You're gonna call me out. That's what you're gonna do, D-Batch.
You were the chosen one.
That's what he's doing.
Expose it.
Oh man! Hey, shout out to Melvo, Violet, Husk in the chat. Also Zelda. There's someone named Zelda in the chat. Zach, shout out to you, buddy, as well as Ronan SMS, which is a text message solution, and so many more in the chat. I'll get to a few super chats here in a second. But Fonzarelli, tell people where they can find you at not the Grounded Gamer, at Fonzarelli Gaming.
Yeah. Yep. Fonzarelli Gaming right here on YouTube. Find me at jfonzarelli on Twitter. And I've been playing Mass Effect 2 from the Legendary Edition. It's been awesome. Mass Effect 2 is still the GOAT, man. It's so great. You can find me there. And I just wanted to say real quick that, Colt, I know this is his last, Tuesday show with us. And I just want to say, man, that the past 4 years have been honestly amazing, and everything, on RDX here with you. I'm going to miss you here, and I wish you nothing but success with XNC and everything you got going for you out there on YouTube. I'll always support you, and I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Hans. Thanks.
Yeah.
Lies. He's going to sabotage the algorithm.
Stop recommending these trash videos.
What are we gonna do today, dealer?
Hey,
take over the world.
Hey, Tim Dog, brother, where can people find you, man, and what have you been playing?
You can find me in Cult Streams in the VIP section with Phil. No, but Colt, love you. Great guy, and I'll definitely see you in 3 weeks on the show, and whenever you can come in and make it or whatever.
One day we'll be media members, and Colt will have us on the show.
Exactly. No, this is nobody. This is nobody. There's no bye. It's not a goodbye. So it's just we're all friends, and it's Colt, you're awesome. I just want to let you know that. And for me, I just you can find me on Twitter. You know where to find me. And I've been playing Gears Tactics. I tried it, and like Zorker said, I mean, when people say that, I mean, that's a pretty impressive, like that's borderline AAA. I mean, from what I've seen,
it is AAA.
It is a AAA game, and I'm getting used to it. I played the first act. I'm gonna play maybe some tonight, and I enjoyed it. I've been doing a season in the show, unbelievable. Like 7-3 with the Mets. Gears Tactics. The guys who complain about games and stuff like that, give that game a chance. And like myself, I'm going to give Wasteland, after I finish Gears Tactic, if I finish it, I'm going to give Wasteland a try too. There are some games, like I know we've been complaining, but maybe give those games a try before we really bury the Xbox. And so excited about the C3 and so excited about the after show. And I'm hoping we have a really positive one and we're happy. So I'll see you then in a couple of days.
Yeah. Hey, Zucker.
Sure.
What have you been playing, buddy, and where can people find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube, Zalker87, Twitter, Zalker87, and not on the floor, on the couch now. So F you. No, I've been playing. I was playing Warhammer Chaos Bane. I beat Warhammer Chaos Bane this entire weekend, bro. I just played the hell out of it. It's a lot of fun playing with a new class now. I've been on this kind of Warhammer kick after they had their big event that they showed all their games and stuff. So I've been playing Mechanicus and all their strategy games, and they're a lot of fun. So if you like strategy games and kind of like that cool, different type of gaming, just check those games out. I'm having a lot of fun with them. And I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm jumping back into that. Put about a couple hours into it, and then Ratchet and Clank this weekend. A lot of gaming going on, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it was a great show. I can't wait for E3. I'm honestly looking forward to Sunday. I told everybody in my family, leave me the fuck alone. So I can't wait to watch it and see what we're probably going to be talking about it. And then when we go on live, we're going to be with everybody in the chat enjoying Xbox gaming, and that's what it's all about, people.
Yeah.
Enjoying the gaming.
And I've talked to Xbox recently. They do say they have a guest they want to offer in the future, stuff like that. So we'll have stuff coming with Jay, Ronald, and all that stuff. I mean, again, it's one of those things where we just didn't get around to it because of COVID stuff, and there was complications. So we'll be talking to a lot of those guys, and yeah, I've got some pretty cool ideas. Definitely going to be putting more time into this stuff. And again, I just want to thank you guys, everyone that powers the show. Seriously, you guys made it happen.
Yeah.
You've made it one of the biggest Xbox podcasts in history, and everyone from the show has gone and done great things. And it's not that anyone's leaving or that they're being assholes or anything like that. Nothing negative. It's not that they're being promoted. They've been doing their own thing in the background, like everyone. I've encouraged everyone to do that, right? So Colt's been churning away, making his own content this whole time. If you didn't know, which you should, phenomenal stuff. And he's gone off and done another show with different take on it, different spin. Whereas we do something a little different here, and that's great. I wish Colt the best, as always. We'll always look at him as a friend. We'll talk, and he'll probably fucking call me every week, and we'll get to the party and talk some shit.
And you'll get
That's what
more
people don't
gamer score than me.
understand.
Yeah, and I'll accidentally get more gamer score
understand.
than Colt. So it's one of those things where, again, it's not a big deal. And I think that this is I want people to do where they want to be. I've done a podcast before myself. I'm not saying this is the case with Colt. He's got a lot of stuff going on now. And plus, he started a prostitution ring. I explained that earlier.
Whoa!
Yeah, that takes a lot of time. So this is one of those things where, you got to move on. You got to do your thing. And I encourage that. So again, chat, thank you for supporting everyone here. And tell Gaming Addict hi in the chat. Giving Gaming Addict a hi because he stood all of his subscribers up earlier and didn't even show up to his own stream. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll see him on tonight on Xbox Party Chat.
We will. Yeah.
Probably.
And again, shout out to the moderators and stuff too. But yeah, you can find me at II Space Dealer Space II on Xbox Live. You can find me on Twitter at dealer_gaming. And, of course, here, YouTube, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my last video where I basically spend a lot of time making a video calling out Sony because a lot of Sony fans won't call Sony out for lying to them and trying to misdirect them. And it's not about the delays; those are good. It's about the that little mesquite, like the little just scent. The scent they're getting off, like they're in the bushes getting away with something. When like kind of like they did with Spider-Man Miles Morales when they tell you it was crossed in until like a month before it came out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we go into there, along with a dumb little skit at the beginning. So shout out to you guys. Dan Lazaro, he says he's still waiting on Michael Jackson. What the hell? Moonwalker 2. That better be a game.
Oh,
if
the
it's
Sega
not.
game.
Wow.
Ah, the throwback. And then we've got Raymond on the super chases. He says, "Great chat, fellas. Keep it up. Positive. Great people. Yes, thank you so much, man." And then we've also got another one here. I think I've read that one. Yes, shout out to Brainstorm. We've got just another one without a chat from Brainstorm. And then another one from Chinook Guy. He says, "I respect Xbox for not saying this is the most game trailers ever at an Xbox show." Yes.
The week is still young, sir.
The week is still young, so hang on. Logical Tech, he says, Xbox needs to knock it out of the park Sunday. These games that have been in development for years show us some deep dives. He wants some deep dive gameplays, and I'm not going to say it's a bad thing at all. I definitely am not, but I would say that it's pretty straightforward. I would expect some good gameplay and some cool announcements, and it's time to kind of move past the last year of drought and stuff like that. Brett in the super chat says, if Sony is petty by making a Sunset Overdrive game, Xbox should go and to Activision and buy Crash and Spyro. That's a hell of a claim, sir. I would say that Insomniac owned the IP to Sunset Overdrive. When we talked about Sony buying Insomniac on the show, we mentioned how this means that Sony could re-release the game on PlayStation 5. Yeah, I mean, this is nothing. When people tag me in this, what do you say to this? The same shit I said a fucking 6 months ago.
There's actually another layer to that it could be possible that some of the publishing rights are with Microsoft. So if Insomniac makes Sunset Overdrive for PlayStation,
they bring it to Xbox too.
They'll also have to basically if it would be a remaster that would launch on PlayStation, they would have to release it on Xbox.
You know,
well,
I don't
know
see
if
that.
that's true.
It's worse. It might be worse than that though. They might want to bring it to Xbox. Why not? It's already on Xbox. What are they going to hold a port of a better looking version of a game?
I just don't see Sony making a sequel or a reboot of a game saying like, oh yeah, and, Sunset Overdrive 2, and they're like, well, where's 1? You got to go to Xbox to play it. Fuck. Like they're just not going to do that.
What if they release it? What if they remaster it, Zucker?
I think they will.
I mean, if they remaster it, then cool. I'll play it. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to build a sequel, but I think there is some smoke going on that maybe they're going to bring Sunset Overdrive 1 to PlayStation. And so I was talking to Randall Thor, like he was just kind of being devil's advocate and saying, there could be like some kind of publishing agreement where it needs to come out on Xbox as well. I don't know. He goes, I don't know if that's true, but that's something to like consider. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't play the game again or buy it again. Or, if it was a remaster for $40 or $60.
Yeah, we'll
or
see.
70
It's not even like a big, if it happens, it happens. But from the beginning, the show's always said they own the IP. It's very likely they could do whatever they want with that. Timothy Clark, by the way, says if they want Microsoft to win the sales war in North, basically the sales war overall, they need to release more Series X's in the North American market. So yeah, I mean, again, that was something else that we talked about was Microsoft are approaching it differently. This is another reason when people tag you on Twitter acting like PlayStation winning NPD is a surprise or a big deal. We literally said it before the system's launch. We're hearing, particularly Tim, that yeah, they're going to be putting most of their units in other territories for the first time. They're not going to pump North America full of Xboxes this time around because they know they can catch that market in time like they did last gen. They want to start other places and build a global following first. Sony put more of their units in the North American market this time, and it was no surprise that's exactly what happened. Chuck Eagle, by the way, says, my favorite podcast, only podcast that you'll hear about. Okay, that's the one you read, Colt's Wet Dreams.
Oh, yes. Gosh. You had to read that one twice, Dealer.
I did. Scrub Nurse. Colt Dreams. There's another one. Colt's Dreams with pew 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 sound effects. It's just so many Colt Eastwood dream ones. Shout out to Raymond, by the way, for just a regular super chat. Mass Effect or Mass 3R3ET. Xbox is going to demonstrate, and Pony's gonna be pretty jealous. And then we've got I don't know how to. I guess that was Total Wolf. He says, "Do you think Microsoft should buy Remedy Games?" No.
No.
And then we've got Professor Chaos. He says, "Glad to
If
be
Fonz was
joining."
here, he'd say the same.
Yeah, glad. At least make a better map for Control when you re-release it. That'd be
At least
amazing.
make a better game.
You didn't even play it, Zocker.
I don't want it.
Exposed. He says, "Glad to be joining live at RDX. I'll be happy to finally see what Starfield is. Anything else is just gravy." So he's saying, yeah, some good stuff coming. P.S. Zocker's a fraud. Shout out to you, brother. He says, Lord Roughness. He says, I'm in no doubt that E3 for Xbox is gonna knock it out of the park. Halo will be fire, and it will be fine. Xbox community need to block out, the haters. So I agree with you, sir. I'm gonna scroll up here and see if I've missed any other ones. We've got one more here. Brigader Blue. Shout out to you, brother. He watches the show every week. I see him in here. He says, what is an IP all of you would like to see acquired by Microsoft? So him personally, he'd love to see Castlevania picked up, that's a big one from Capcom. That'd be interesting. So, I mean, an IP that I wish they owned would be, just right off the top of my head, I always wish they owned the Rise IP and they had the time to build out a proper Rise Son of Rome sequel, which they could just then call Rise with a different subtitle, and they could change the locations every game like in Assassin's Creed and a different story from that era. That's me. Cultist IP, Zocker IP.
Oh,
D-Batch, if you're still here, sir, IP.
Zocker, go first.
I talked about it earlier. I hope if they get anything, it's going to be the Warhammer IPs, because you can build so many different type of games with that and go so many different routes. And that I just want that, because I've been reading a lot of Warhammer books, to be quite honest, and comics and everything, and there's just so much like expansive things that you can do with that stuff. And Space Marine was one of my favorite games last gen, or the gen before in 360. And I just think they can make some pretty mature, awesome games. I mean, look at Darktide, look at Warhammer Vermintide.
We get it. Zauger's a question.
That's it, man.
It's already
That's
20
it.
minutes long, sir. Shit.
Oh, sir, shut up.
All right, cool.
It's impossible, but Splinter Cell, but it belongs to Tom Clancy, so it's like too big of an umbrella. But Xbox needs to come back to Splinter Cell, and make it happen, since Ubisoft won't make it happen. So have Xbox say, look, Splinter Cell, we're going to buy the IP, we're going to take care of it since you won't do it.
And Melania corrected me in the chat. Thank you. That is Konami, not Capcom. So, hey, maybe that's a fucking actual chance they could acquire Castlevania.
Oh, yeah.
So, that should be interesting. By the way, guys, I'm hearing names like, bring on this person, this person. There's a lot of guys. You'd be surprised. I got some really cool messages from people when we kind of talked about this last time, which we did. And I don't know exactly what I'm doing. So it's all about the personality and kind of how they vibe. That's the number one thing, if it even does happen at all, right? So we're leaving it open, not that it's happening or not happening. But yeah, definitely. Just want to let you guys know that, so you have information. But again, thanks for watching this, guys. Still 1200 here, watching the long-ass outro. D-Batch, if you want to name an IP real quick, we'll get the fuck out of here. And
it's a pipe dream, but Warner Brothers and have Batman to combat Sony Spider-Man.
Shit.
But it's a pipe dream, you know.
Well, why don't Phil just go to Disney and go around Sony's back and get Spider-Man on Game Pass day one? Anyway, chat, let us know your thoughts. Hit the like button if you haven't. Thank you for everyone that watched the show. You guys are amazing. We are out.
Later, everybody.
Well, give me some water.